more just parkour killing zombies, but like even the story was great. The music is fantastic.
Yeah.
How about now?
And it's scary as fuck at night, dude.
Yeah.
How do I
That's
sound?
That's the thing about the second game that they fucked up so hard. It was the scariness of it.
Hey, you're
Yo,
extreme.
can you hear me?
Get off the shit.
Yeah, I can hear you extreme. Go ahead. They say something.
Okay. Yeah, just testing this.
All right. Well, you testing the
You
new
sound
mic
like you
because you
have a
sound
different
different.
microphone.
Yeah, you sound like you have a
Yeah.
different mic.
It's a different
You
mic
sound like you-
because I have people over messing with the internet, so I can't use my usual setup.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but how does this sound?
No, you're still clear, so it does. It just sounds
Okay.
little lower quality than the other one.
Yeah,
but that's
the other
fine.
one
You
sounded
can still
better quality.
understand.
To be fair, it better be.
It better be lower quality.
No,
Yeah, he likes low quality.
Yes,
That's why
I guess. Yeah, because the thing is, the other one is like a dedicated mic. This is like
Okay. Okay.
a wired headset I found somewhere.
Oh, so you are okay. So you are using something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That
Yeah,
would have been messed
I'm
up if
using
we told
something
you.
else.
That would have been messed up if we told you, yo, you sound so much better. You would have been like, what? You would
Well,
have been
exactly.
mad
I
as
would have
hell.
been like, what do I pay for? What do I pay for?
What the hell are you talking about? You know, you better get that Apple. You better get that Apple Vision.
Yeah,
Listen,
there you go.
Listen,
That's one of the
You
topics
can,
we'll talk about.
You can
that.
stare at Discord. You can
Definitely.
stare at
See?
Discord.
Definitely.
Yeah, you know, we could listen. We could all pay $3,500 each. We'll get the Vision, and that's how we'll do our podcast. And it'll be like
Yeah.
we're
Honestly, I don't
literally,
think it's that expensive.
and then it'll be like literally in the room. We will be like literally in the room together. It will feel like,
The-
at least feel like, not literally. It will feel like we're in the room.
No,
Listen,
cap,
it
the
knows how to
microphone.
feedback.
The microphone, at least on the Quest 2, is fucking fantastic. It sounds so crisp. I don't know how it's gonna sound like on whatever the fuck that Apple shit is, but it does sound really good.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm just saying. I think it'd be,
Yeah, like
you know, but we'll talk about
my
it.
microphone isn't perfect, but the Quest 2 sounds better than my dedicated microphone. And I'm
Really?
Like, fuck, where can I find? Yeah, I'm gonna plug it in right now. Hold on.
This guy's got something to prove. He's like, I'm gonna prove it to you.
I'm gonna prove to you. Then
I'ma
he sounds
prove
like
it to
dog
you,
shit.
bro.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right.
We live, bro. We live.
Yeah, we are live. We are live. You know. Welcome,
All right,
my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. We are
my
back.
friends.
You know, 60 frames no lag podcast where we bleed blue here because we cap
Wasn't it 30 frames?
and shit like
Didn't we
that.
change to 30 frames?
No. I'm in performance mode.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
1080p60?
there's no Redfall here. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no Redfall here. We provide performance mode in this podcast. Or check
That's
out,
fucked,
man. Oh snap, man! Let's start out with that a little bit. Let's start out, you know, the audacity. You know, we'll start with that. The audacity of, you know, you have developers. When Microsoft bought Bethesda, these developers like, thank God, bro, because yo, Microsoft, this game is dog shit. Just cancel it. We can start on some new ideas. Come on, get rid of this shit, because this is dog shit. Please, you bought us. Them Bethesda fuckheads, they don't know what they're doing. Let's go. We're going to cancel it. And Microsoft goes, oh yeah, we're going to cancel the PS5 version. That's why we canceling. And they're like their soul sunk because they knew that they're about to release dog shit and there's nothing they can do about it. Like, yo, that is wow, bro. When you have your own developers telling you your shit is doo-doo, this should have never existed. Like this, like they should have done a plan B pill. This shit should have never been conceived. You know what I'm saying? Like whoever thought of this idea, they should have been like, here, just take a plan B, bro. Like, dead that shit. Don't even give birth to this sucker. Don't conceive. And Microsoft says, no, we're committed. Launch that bitch. Yo, that shit is terrible. This is like, because before we assumed like Microsoft just don't know what they're doing and like, you know, they weren't involved, or, you know, they don't really have to tell quality. No, they were told by the developers, cancel this. We don't want to release this. Literally, they told them no. Just cancel it. We could move on to a different project. And Microsoft said, hell nah. Keep it pushing. Yo, yeah, that's crazy.
Apparently all they did was they came in and said, cancel PS5, continue to work, see you in a couple months. See you on release.
Yo,
That's
that
pretty
is
much what
yo,
happened.
that is wild. That at that point, it's not even a question of does Microsoft have talent for quality. They don't give a fuck. They don't
Phil
care
Spencer
about
said so
quality.
himself.
They don't care about quality at all. They just want quantity. Just release shit on Game Pass.
Yep.
It just makes that way they can say they release stuff on Game Pass. That's it. They just want that shit stacked.
So
just keep stacking it. Quality control, fuck out of here. Stack that shit. Stack that shit.
It sucks.
Yeah, David
sucks,
Jaffe
man.
said it's a, he said it's a management issue. I think this does give a little.
It's a
some
bunch of
validity to
issues,
what he
man,
said.
honestly.
Yeah, but that was a bad sale. I'll give Spencer credit. He came out and took the hit.
Bad sale.
And,
No, it's on Game Pass.
Wait. What do you give
Hold
him
on.
credit for?
What hit?
It's on
They were
Game
giving
Pass.
them blowjobs on the goddamn podcast.
Dude,
Everybody's saying, "Oh man, he stepped up like a man." I'm like, bro, the first thing to do, Phil, we really like to thank you. You know, you're an idol, man.
Yeah,
I will lick your butthole. I'm like, yo, that like me, like bro, like this dude did not step into no arena.
Phil?
Any place he actually talked or did an interview, they first start out how they adored the guy. Me, you, if you really want to see that guy catch some heat, come here. Come here.
though.
Come here. Come live to this motherfucker. You're going to see that dude catch some heat. He's going to ask, you know what I'm saying? How you going to start on a podcast saying, I really appreciate the things you do. Like, what things? What things?
Yeah,
Phil Spencer is smart because this is the thing that he's been doing for years. So he, from the get-go, he's like, you know what? I'm going to make this conscious decision of going on a podcast and apologizing. So from here on out, like, all I'm gonna do is what they basically did on this live stream on the Xcast. Just, hey, it's Phil Spencer. Like, how's it going, man? Thank you for being here. You're such a brave man. All this other shit,
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like he went on the Fox News, going like he was going on the video game. Yeah, but I mean, all you can do if you're him, just say, yeah, we dropped the ball or whatever he said, and just move on from it.
But they always drop the ball. Man, that dude always drops the ball.
The best part is people analyzing his, like, the way he's speaking and the way he's expressing. It's like, yo, he sounds angry. He sounds like it wasn't his fault.
Hey, did you switch your mic?
Your mic.
You switched your mic, didn't you?
It sounds like
it's not better. It's not better.
It's chocolate. Yeah, it's chocolate thunder in there with you.
Go back. Go back. Because now you're bubbly. You sound underwater. You sound like a snorkel.
I see.
You sound like a snorkel.
I just turned it
that
on,
question mic is terrible.
He's like even my mic's not that bad. And I just found
exactly.
it.
I'm just
Extreme's mic sound better?
I'd rather have this.
Yo, he sounded like he was underwater and shit. I'm like, oh shit, this is an episode.
It sounded like Phil Spencer was choking me, man.
Mario
It sounded like Phil
64,
Spencer was choking me.
What happened? What happened?
I'm playing Mario 64.
Oh, you're playing
That's what
Mario
happened,
64.
yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm underwater.
Oh,
That's why I sound like that. Do.
But I'm just saying, yo, that's the nerve, bro. Like, at that point, I'm like, yo, it's rare that the very developers making a game, they hope their project gets canceled. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how you know the shit is bad.
Yeah.
Like literally, they did the work for Microsoft. They're literally telling them, hey, this is bad. This is not going to be good. Just get rid of it. Just stop us. Close the project. Believe me, we want the project closed. Yo, this is the first time I ever heard developers want the project to be shut down. And they get told no.
Yeah.
Yo, that shit is that's like the complete opposite of Scalebound. That shit is wild, bro. Like, yo, I heard of some shit. That's a new for me in gaming. That's a new for me in gaming.
The developer themselves said,
yes.
yo, we want this shit canceled.
Yes,
and
they were
Xbox
hoping.
Said no.
Yes, they were hoping that Microsoft would shut this down.
Okay.
When they bought Bethesda, because Bethesda said you're going to do it, so they had to do it. But along the lines, they're like, this is not good. Man, this project sucks.
So they thought.
And then when Microsoft bought Bethesda,
cancel this.
Yes. So when Microsoft bought Bethesda, they had a new boss. So they went to a new boss. They're like, oh yes, let's cancel this. And Microsoft's like, the PS5 version. That's
Todd Howard went to Phil Spencer's like, no, don't worry about this, man. Just turn around, just go over there to Microsoft. Just don't worry about it.
This shit is crazy. Yeah. You know, they're like, yo, this shit's crazy. Anyway, we're gonna do our intros. Hey, yo, Craig, what's going on, my brother? What you been up to?
Man, just living the life, living the dream. Gaming a little bit. And,
what you gaming? What you playing?
I've been playing. I played Surviving Mars. I'm still playing that. Got the colony up and going.
That's on PC. That's a PC game.
Like an RTS.
No,
Type
it's on
game?
PS5. It's on PlayStation, and on the Xbox.
Sounds
I
like a
haven't
PC
played it
game.
much this week. So
Yeah, it's a PC game.
I think it's a
Surviving
PC
Mars
game
on PS5. The fuck? Where
It is on
you
PS5.
where you got that game
I
from
mean-
on the PS5?
There is.
It was on Plus. What's it called? PS, whatever it is, PSN, whatever that thing is.
Oh,
It's free.
you doing subscription service?
I did the subscription service.
Oh, so we doing
download.
subscription service now. So now we like
Yeah.
subscription
PlayStation
service.
Pass.
Now we like it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Now we like PlayStation
He never hated
Pass.
on Game Pass. He never hated on Game Pass.
Now we like Game Pass.
Yeah, now the Xbox is this week. Yeah, I've been busy, so it's been kind of.
You been on the Xbox? Oh, that's right. You got an Xbox, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. It's
And
just
what you been
sitting
playing
there
on
right
that?
Oh yeah.
now. This
Yeah.
week, not a whole lot. Not no. 'Cause This is just Tuesday.
You think? I could have told you that.
What are you looking forward to?
feeling.
Come on,
Shocking!
Xbox.
You got an
Yeah, this is
Xbox and not a whole lot to play.
Messiah. What are you looking
Yeah,
forward
this is that.
to from
They-
the
What is
Xbox
that?
It's
platform?
an Xbox
Nice.
experience.
What
It's
happened?
not
Extreme?
bad.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's the
microphone
Xbox experience.
Sounds like a tunnel.
Oh, it sounded like yours?
It sounds. Yeah. No,
you
it
sound
sounded
like
worse
you
than
sound
mine.
like it sounds like you're talking on a military radio.
Yeah,
It sounds
Oh, yeah?
like you're. Yeah, it's like a can with a cord, you know, and you're stretching it
Yeah.
so that you can.
Yeah,
talk through
I'm
it.
gonna find another mic, guys. I'm gonna find. I can't take this. I can't take this. I'll do that.
You do
Wait,
sound
do you have an
you-
iPhone?
You sound like
No,
It's like Chuck-
No,
Chuck
Android?
Dunder's
Can
got
you
his head
not?
into the pillow.
He
Can
sounds
you not separate the headset from the microphone so that you talk through the phone as a microphone?
really?
Can you not do that? I don't know. Do you have an
Oh,
Android?
Yeah.
Oh,
listen. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
all right, figure it out, man.
my man.
I haven't
Sound,
played it
my
a
man
lot
sounds like
on
he's
it.
on 1980s AT&T phone, trying to hear the pin drop.
You got a razor, the razor, whatever, the
That
flip.
razor,
What's it
yeah.
called?
Mhm. You know, say
Hey,
all
what's
right.
happening?
So you haven't. So you what games have you played on your Xbox since you purchased it? I swear to God, if you say Mass Effect, I'm booting you. I'm just gonna
No.
boot you.
Well, I can't play
Backwards
Mass
compatibility
Effect.
games.
They don't have backwards compatibility.
No,
that's what I'm saying, they
for
do.
what? For Mass Effect? Yeah, but you have to be part of like I said this on my podcast. You have to be part of Game Pass Ultimate to get access to
Or the
EA
Oh,
to the EA stuff. I'm like,
oh.
man, it's the same with the Ubisoft stuff. That stuff is already on PlayStation. But I'm like, man, this is trash. I gotta join an $18 service to play Ubisoft stuff. I mean, not all of it, but
No, so they don't have
so-
the Ubisoft
Go
Plus isn't part of the Game Pass.
Yeah, it's not
Ultimate.
part of
It's
Game
only
Pass.
there's only a
No,
few
it-
games that they selected
Yep.
a couple months back,
Yeah.
like
Yep,
Assassin's
and it's-
Creed and Rainbow Six, but it's not
Yep.
not the
Yeah,
catalog.
but
It's
the
not
full
after
service, yeah, you have to pay separately.
you gotta pay separately. Yeah,
Oh yeah, it's so to get Ultimate Game Pass and not own anything, and then to get the Ubi stuff combined, it's like $30. So you're
Yeah, it's
paying
more than
$30 a month to own nothing. I'm like, man, this thing has got people doing double life. So I mean, but just some backwards compatible stuff for now. And just waiting because they're gonna start showing some games. I guess is it tomorrow or Thursday?
no,
So,
it's Saturday, I think, isn't it? Saturday?
well, no, this overall the summer showcase starts.
Oh, when does
I
that
think
start?
Tomorrow. I think tomorrow. So everybody's
Okay.
gonna be showing some games.
Jeff Keighley says, "Oh, it starts tomorrow," but what he really means sometimes is like someone else is gonna do a showcase or
That's true.
or a live stream, and we're just being like we're just being a right wing, what the fuck, a wingman for them, just being like, hey, look, I don't know what's
Thing is that you have to remember that summer showcase is where Sony showed the demo with Epic, the Epic Unreal 5. That was at the showcase. This is
right.
not-
No, but what I mean is when he, to me,
You're right.
summer
Mhm.
game shows, the summer game show starts when Jeff Keighley's on stage like, hey, welcome. That's when it starts to me.
Yeah.
Not when
agree.
someone else.
That's some random.
Fair enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
some
All right.
rando.
All right, good to go. All right.
Yeah, fucking.
So pretty much you haven't played shit on your Xbox. Gee, shocking. All right, call me Jay. What's going on? What you been
What's
up to?
up, bro? I've been playing Dying Light. I just beat it like a week or two ago. Plus
Did you platinum
the
it?
expansion.
you
I'm trying to max out. I don't follow trophies on fucking on
What?
Steam. I don't like.
I'm just kidding with
No,
you.
I just play the game. I just play the game, but
Because it's like Steam achievements.
yeah,
Yeah.
Steam achievements is like hey, motherfucker, look at the bottom right. You got an achievement. Wow. PlayStation is like Green, yeah, here you go. Xbox green, but Steam is like, they don't give a fuck,
like,
bro.
whatever,
We don't really care.
Just boot the shit and play it.
Yeah, just play your fucking game and shut up. So I've been getting achievements. There are a lot of shit on. I have it on Epic. I don't have it on Steam. Fantastic game. Like I told you before we went live, I played it on PS4. I couldn't do it. I played it a couple years before on PC again. Couldn't do it. And now I jumped back in. Like I would say 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10 game. I think it's if someone here is on the chat is interested.
Dying Light.
I think next gen. Huh? Dying Light, the first one, not the second one. The first one. If someone's interested, I think PS5 and the next gen consoles have like 60 frames and high field of view. So take advantage of that, and it's gonna be a fantastic game. And I've also been playing Plague Tale, the new one. I have the first one. Requiem, I think it's called.
It's the second one, right?
Okay,
Requiem?
so I play the second one. I played the first one. I couldn't get into it. It just something about it felt, I don't know. So
that little
put
boy
like 2
kept
hours.
crying every time you walk 2 feet away.
I put 2 hours into that one and I just couldn't do it. It was like, no, man, it's just no. The second game though, bro, oh my god, dude, it's
huge improvement.
Fucking amazing. The voice acting, Alicia is her name, dude. She gives me freaking goosebumps. So when she gets angry, perfect voice acting. The little kid, he sounds so innocent and just like, yeah, she's so innocent. Everybody else, like most of the graphics, fantastic. The music, oh my fucking, when the rats come, it's like the most menacing soundtrack that kicks in, and I'm just like at awe with everything that's happening around me whenever that shit happens. There was just one section, I don't want to spoil much, but there was like a puzzle section that I got to, and I immediately as I saw like the things highlighted, I was like, okay, it's gonna be some stupid ass fucking puzzle. But then they did a twist to the puzzle that I'm not gonna say what it is if in case anybody here is interested in playing it. But it turned the puzzle into something that I myself was anxious. I was like, oh, what's going on? What's gonna happen? I don't fucking know what's gonna happen here. It turned out to happen what I thought, but it still was really good. Fantastic game. I'm enjoying it.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Those two games are on my radar right now, the ones that I'm playing the most. Battlefield
what you playing?
Tomorrow Battlefield's the update. Amazing. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Now, are they gonna add? You're talking about the 2042.
2042. Yeah.
Are they gonna add a single player to it? I keep hearing.
No,
they're not. Okay. Boo.
It's just strictly multiplayer. Yeah. If you like single player Battlefield, which is okay, you're not gonna get that. But for a while now, it's been like I feel like it's been almost a year now since that game has been really good. Obviously, the perception will always be it's dog shit because that's how it launched. That's never gonna change. But if you're a person that gives second chances and you liked Battlefield in the past, this is not really Battlefield 5 or 4 in terms of how it feels, but you can still do whatever the fuck you want. Whereas when you play COD, you gotta play like fucking sweat your balls off. In Battlefield, you can just sit back, recon, or be on a tank and chill. You know, you can play however you want, and it's really fun.
Oh, cool. Alrighty.
Yes, sir.
All
That's
right.
my intro.
Hey, yo, Jay Breezy.
Yo, what's good, guys, man? You can hear me?
Yeah, of course. What's up, my brother?
Yo, what's good, man? Yeah, man. Very, very interesting week. Especially with that whole Redfall thing. CP, right, you got it confused, man. They didn't say, the devs didn't say they didn't want to cancel the game. Microsoft just said let's cancel the PlayStation version.
Oh, shit. I know, that's what I'm saying. They want to cancel the game. Microsoft says, nah, we just gonna cancel the PS5 version. Hey, yo, JayBari, man. I got a confession to tell you. I'm sorry this might upset you, but listen, man. When you have modern problems, you need modern solutions.
Oh, man.
Bro, you know I'm team modern controls now, bro.
Yo,
listen,
controls, man.
Listen, bro. Listen, I'm
What's the
sorry.
difference?
But listen, bro, listen, let me tell you something. I give up. It's the new NBA. I'm going to hit that 3, dog. I'm going to take 5 steps in between dribbles, and I'm going to shoot that long 3, dog. That's it. The days of the long 2 is over.
Yeah,
you know,
that shit's strong.
I'm gonna come in the online arcade like Steph Curry. I'm gonna change up the game, bro. Everybody's gonna be like, nah, fuck this, bro. Puerto Rock fucked everything up.
What character are you using?
With Ken. Oh my god!
Okay.
Listen, I always main Ken since like day one, right? Since Street Fighter 2, when you were able to select the 8 characters, I picked Ken, right? For whatever reason. And I've been playing with him. The only Street Fighter game that I did not play was Third Strike. For whatever reason, man, I can't even remember when that game came out. For whatever reason, I just never played it in arcade or nothing. But every other Street Fighter, always played it, and Ken was always my main. So I'm very familiar with Ken, even when they changed him up in Street Fighter 4, when they made him very kick-oriented. I adopted, and I'm like, yo, Ken's my dude. 4? Yeah, I think it was turning 4 when they started.
Yeah, spamming the kicks.
The kicks, yeah. That's when they really gave him a unique identity away from Ryu, right? But fuck it, I adapted. I'm like, ooh, this is my dude. Yo, I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna come in.
Would you say? I have a question. Would you say you're a lover of Street Fighter games?
Oh yeah.
Do you love?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's just a nod to JayBari. Earlier today.
I love Street Fighter. I love Street Fighter.
I got a headache off of that.
Why? What happened? What happened? What happened today? Some shit happened in Spaces?
It's just the typical, people that don't play certain games claiming that they love certain genres, but purposely skipping it.
I heard the JRPG one.
Yeah,
which is fucking weird, bro. It's just,
that's the one.
Yo, I know what you mean. Because, the reality is, it's true what you're saying. If you love a certain genre, then the platform, and there's a specific platform that does it the best, I can't see how you don't have that platform. Like, it blows my mind out. Like, if you love JRPGs, I mean, I can understand if you have the Switch, because Switch has a lot of great JRPGs too. So that is a good, technically between the two, between PlayStation and Switch, yeah, those are two great choices. But when you don't have either of them, but you're a JRPG fan, like how? Like where are you? Like what platform are you playing JRPGs on? If you love it, it's crazy. I know. I heard it.
Dude said his PlayStation 4, he got rid of it because it was collecting dust. And that's my point. I'm like, yo, you claim that you love all these RPGs, but your PlayStation 4 is magically catching dust with all these great games coming out to it that they had no inkling that was coming to Xbox at the time. You know what I mean? So
you pointed out
it was just weird. I was like, all right, bro, you got it, man. I already got my answer. I was just at that point. I was just like, all right, it's work, and I'm just trying to you know what I mean? Make the long day go back. I already got my point. I was like, yo, listen bro. There's nothing more you can tell me.
I'm not trying. Yo, the PlayStation 4 was collecting dust.
Even to this day, right? Like there's still PS5 games that are JRPGs that are not on Xbox.
But that shit is crazy because you cannot tell me you playing crazy ass games on the Xbox during the PS4 gen. I could maybe understand this gen kind of because Game Pass is a lot better this gen. They have a lot more stuff as compared to when it first came out in 2017, 2018 because there was barely shit on it. It was like all old shit. So I could maybe understand saying that this gen, maybe,
shit, and CFD.
But last gen, get the fuck out of here, bro. That shit was dry as fuck, bro. There's no amount of Vaseline or KY you could lube that brand.
The thing is, that guy,
bro, that shit was
Logical,
dry.
I think that's his name. He kept this was yesterday, not today. Yesterday, he kept changing the reasons why he didn't touch the PS4 whenever JayBari and someone else called him out. Because at first he was saying, "Oh, I play more on my Xbox because shooters and shit like that." And I'm
There's hardly any shooters.
Microsoft. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, wait, Microsoft don't really got that many good shooters. They're mostly third party. PlayStation has some good shooters that are.
This is the best I can do.
Like, what's going on? Nah, you sound better now.
Oh, yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah, like
modern controls, bro. I'm sorry, bro.
What's the difference?
Sorry. So
modern controls is very strong in the game.
But it does have flaws.
Yeah, it does have flaws.
It has a lot of flaws, so I can see why Capcom's going to allow it in the ports. So this is what it is. So regular fighters, the 6-button. So you're familiar with Street Fighter, right, Jay?
Yeah, I played Street Fighter before.
Okay, so you have the regular 6-button configuration, like light, medium, heavy, and then let's say to do a Hadouken, let's say you want to do the fireball, you have to do quarter circle and hit a punch button, right? Or if you want to do the Tatsumaki, the kick, you have to do backwards quarter circle, right? Well, the 6-button configuration, it modified it to now you just have one light button, one medium button, one heavy button, and a special button, right? So let me get the controller.
So it's like Tekken when you press L1 or R1, it pulls out the thing on the side.
No, it's a little bit different, right?
You play Tekken 7?
Yeah, I play Tekken 7. It's different. It's not like that. So
if you ever played a Street Fighter game like on mobile,
yeah.
you know they had like a special button.
So now you only have one light. So now it's a light attack. So it's not light punch, light kick. It's light attack, medium attack, heavy attack, and this button right here is a special. Now, the classic way, in order to do fireball, you got to press down, corner, forward, and hit the punch button. Now all you got to do is just tap the triangle. You just tap the special, and you just do it. You just tap it. Hadouken. If you want to do Shoryuken, you know you had to go forward, back to down, back up to forward, and hit the punch button. Now you just press forward in the special button. So literally, that's Shoryuken.
So you're skipping the combo.
So it skips combos. So it simplifies the special movements. So now you special combo, right? Okay. This button, the R2. So let's say like I jump and I do like a heavy attack. If I hold R2 and keep pressing heavy, it will do an auto combo. So in order to do an auto combo, like for example, if I do a jump into medium and I keep pressing X while holding R2, he's doing all these super combos. So now the combos are kind of like automated. Yes.
Okay.
So it's automated.
So M for? What's that M for?
It's
modern. It stands for modern.
Accessibility. It's very accessibility.
So very accessibility in a sense. But now here's the caveat: half your moveset is gone. You don't have access to half the move the character because again, you no longer have light punch, light kick, medium punch, medium kick. No, you only have light punch, and the light punch is already kind of predetermined. The light attack,
and you do less damage.
You do less damage, right? You do less damage. Half your movesets is gone, so you don't have your full arsenal as a character. You have a limited set of moves, right? Okay, and that's what you're stuck with, right? And I notice you tend to use your drive a lot faster. So if you're not careful, they're gonna knock you out and dizzy you.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So now
the thing is, like, you do lose certain moves, and certain normal special normals with motion control, but certain characters don't really feel that weight of losing all the normals that they have, like Zangief. You know what I mean? Nobody really caring about like certain jump buttons and all that. As long as they have that SPD, command grab.
Yeah, like fucking
Ken. That's why you've seen a lot of them.
Yeah, like Ken, you could drain your drive moves real quick because he has a lot of moves that does it. And I'm like, holy shit! If you're not careful. Now here's the thing: I can see why. Now I can see why for the pro tournament, Capcom doesn't mind to keep it because now for casual online play, I think modern is gonna dominate. Because you could probably win a lot of games with a lot of regular people.
It's more fun. It seems to be more fun.
It is more fun because I tried already. It's fun as fuck between two people.
Okay.
Because most of the people are using modern, but it's just... I will tell you why it's fun. Because I'm seeing less mistakes. And what I mean by that is previous Street Fighters that I played, right? And you play online, you can tell if people are good or not, right? And some matches are way too easy because you can see people do like double jab. They didn't intend to do double jab.
They would just spam. They would just spam too.
Well, not that. Like you see some people out of the blue, they do this. Huh! You know they weren't trying to do the double jab. They try to do a special move, but they just couldn't execute it. So usually when you don't if your timing's off, you do some weird punch or whatever. And I see that a lot, right? So you see a lot of those mistakes, and some guys you could just wreck, and then you really not feel satisfied. You're like, all right, whatever. Okay, and then you play another match or whatever. This one, I see a lot less mistakes. And, like, you have to be on your toes because they could do the same thing. Like, some of these moves and some of the things I'm seeing, I'm like, oh, shit, this shit is wild, right? There's some pretty cool shit, right? So I can see in a normal online setting, normal players. If you're a good player and you're facing normal players, you're going to dominate them, right? But the reason why I think in the pro tournament, they're not going to have this much problem because the pro tournaments, they actually study frame rate counting. They're really good. They're really into it. So, like, say if I wanted to be a pro player, right? And I'm facing a modern player, a person who's on modern controls, what I would try to do is study each of the characters and know what moves they don't have access to. Right. Pretty much, I'm a study. Let's say if you pick let's say you pick Luke and you pick one modern controls, I know the limited movesets you have, which gives me the advantage for defense. Because I know you can only do these things. And
it seems like a really good compromise, honestly, from what you're talking about.
So you could be, So if you face a dude and he knows 100% the moves you can only do, because I faced that dude, I couldn't do shit. I'm like, this motherfucker knows everything I got. I'm like, God the game just come out, and that's when I realized, yo, motor controls is cool for like a maybe overall experience, but if you're gonna play pro, and somebody knows your movesets, boy, you're gonna be putting in. Yeah. It's not as easy as it's it's crazy. But I was having fun. I'm like, yo, and I'm thinking
that is cool because it makes it more accessible to people that just want to have more fun rather than stress. Especially with
more of an arcade. I think it's more of an
right,
arcade,
especially with Street Fighter, which is it's not necessarily a hard game, but personally for me, I don't like how the movement in that game has always been, where you just throw a punch and he stops and throws it. I prefer how Tekken does it or Soul Calibur, where it feels more fluid. But yeah, that's cool. I think that's a cool thing.
Yo, JayBari, I'm going for that 650, dog. I'm gonna go, Jay. Yo, Bari,
that's the attitude right there.
Bari, I'm going for the 3 though. You just let them know Puerto Rico shooting number 3s, bro.
As he should.
I'm going Steph Curry on that. I'm changing the game, bro.
Listen, as much as I think like modern mode, it could be cool. For people learning the game or trying to get into the game and have accessible like access to like cool moves and all that stuff, you're not really learning the game, to be honest with you.
I agree,
and I feel like they shouldn't allow that in rank play. Leave that in casual play and lobbies. But yo, this whole afternoon when I was playing rank, I was running into like a lot of modern players. And they on Wi-Fi, you know what I mean? Where it's just like the internet is horrible, and yo, their reactions to certain things, like you typically will play Street Fighter for years, you know what I mean? You know when somebody's buffering a move because you see their movement kind of like, they kind of like crouch up. Yo, you can't see that in modern. So these dudes they quickly have access to the super button. They quickly have access to the DP, and it's like, yo, that for me. It's like I gotta wrap my brain around it. It's like, oh, all right, this person is using modern. I know they have this easy access to this, yo. So I gotta be careful because they're gonna just hit me with a super random. You know what I mean? But most of them is just man random. To be honest with you, like they just throw that super out there. They throw a special out there. It's like, yo, you're not safe on a lot of these things, so you're just gonna get punished.
Yeah. I think it's cool overall how you explain it, but as you were explaining it, I'm like, for me, that would be mad boring. Because I personally like to try and learn the moves and shit like that. So it being automated for me.
No, I mean, it's a good starting point, though. It's a good starting point.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. 100%.
You can see what these characters can do. And if you want to take that to the next level, it's like, oh, you know what? All right, let me do the classics where I get access to everything. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So like I said, I've been playing with Ken. So like, Ken doesn't change. Like most of these characters, maybe the newer characters, but Ken, I already know his movesets. So it's really just learning the physics of the game itself. Getting used to
okay, bro.
Because the thing that for me what changes for me is not really the character. The character's the same. He pretty much have the same superpowers, whatever. But what changes is like for example, his reach gets a little bit different. Like between different games, his like medium kick range might be different, or like the jump kick might be different. His sweep might be different. Stuff like that, right? He might be a little bit slower for a certain move, whatever, and that's what I get used to, right? So I don't really have to learn any of the movesets or stuff like that. So that's why I made it like right off the bat using modern controls because I already knew what I was doing. I was like, "Oh shit, this shit is lethal, bro."
Can I break some news about that?
They just gave me the Infinity Gauntlet and this motherfucker.
That's when modern controls is really strong. Like somebody know the character, and know the game.
If you know the character, and you just want to enjoy the fight, then I see that.
Because what's cool is there's auto combos where you can like cut it and then enter your own combo, but you have to know the character. You have to know what moves kind of like blur, because the auto combos is the same auto, it doesn't change. So like if you want to expand into other combos, you're gonna have to do it yourself, but you can only know the character if you want to go beyond the default, because it's the same auto combo, it's the same combo, which is another thing, right? If the character recognizes the combo you're about to do, they could block it because they'll know exactly, because there's no changing it. It's already a preset determined combo. So again, a good Street Fighter that recognizes your character and realizes, okay, I know the combos access you have. Once they see the first one being initiated, they could block the rest because they realize, oh, I know exactly what you're gonna do, right? So it's just it's pretty cool, whatever. But right now I'm waiting for my. I bought a 6. Well, I bought me the. I'll tell you right now. It comes in next week. But I bought
They
me,
bought the Hori pad.
no, I bought me a Hori pack because I wasn't sure.
I love that brand.
I wasn't sure if I was gonna really get into Street Fighter. I mean, I'm into Street Fighter, but maybe not enough to buy a $200 pad. So what I did was I bought me which one's this brand? This one is the.
Yeah, I know which patty, but a lot of people say.
Yeah, it's the one with the 6. But yeah, the Hori. I bought me the Hori Commander Octa.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's
I love that brand.
Yeah, it's still a controller. But what you call it? But
every time they come out with a new controller, I say it's Hori below, as a joke. I love it.
Yeah, so
let me break some news. Yeah. Let me break some news about Capcom's got this own show coming out, and I was gonna break this Saturday, but they're adding a new character when they announce, and that character name
Chocolate Thunder. Oh, shut up! I knew he was gonna say Chocolate Thunder,
and he got double life.
Shut up!
He ain't never getting out.
His superpower is clapping butt cheeks.
Yeah. I don't care what modes you play against him. There's
only one mode for him.
There's only got one mode.
I likes you and I wants you. Hey, J-Ro, thank you for being a member. Welcome to the 60 Frames No Lag family. And then we got Braxton Bow. What's up? He says, so does anyone on the panel actually think PlayStation is in trouble if Xbox Showcase is good? All right, you know what? No. But before we move on to that question, let's do another intro. Extreme, my brother.
Yo, what's
going on? What you been up to?
There you go.
And then we'll get into that super chat. That's a good question.
The microphone went back.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, sorry, I missed the super chat.
Okay, no. Your intro. Do your intro first.
Your intro first.
What you been playing?
So, right. Listen, guys. I've been playing God of War Ragnarok, new Game Plus.
Ooh.
On the hardest difficulty, of course, which is the only one you should play on.
Okay.
So
does it have modern controls?
I can confirm again, it's easier than last time around.
Does it have modern controls?
Pardon?
Does it have modern controls?
Is it new game? Yes.
Yes,
it has.
Absolutely. In fact,
a brand new save.
In fact, it's a movie game. It's a movie game, so
I can hit fast forward.
You just press X. You can just press X, or just find the fast forward button. It plays it all for you.
Skip intro like a Netflix.
Hey, Extreme. I'm gonna
auto skip boss fights.
You're gonna what?
I have a request for you. I want you to on Twitter post a picture of your accessibility options. I will hope to see them all turned off, not one single then on. Okay.
Wait, what? My what?
I'm just joking because you're saying you're playing on the hardest difficulty, so I'm like, I hope that none of your accessibilities are turned on.
No, hardest difficulty, but every accessibility is on. Oh my god!
Oh yeah, so that's what I've been playing.
I mean, I caught somebody doing that with The Last of Us Part 2. Man, they was talking about they playing in Grounded, but they had all the accessibility where you crouch.
Snap!
Yeah,
the crouch, the crouch where they can't see you.
All their clips are just them crouched.
Well, yeah. Once you crouch, the enemy. I mean, listen, I'm not knocking accessibility. I think that's great because there's a lot of people.
Yeah, agree.
It's a great thing, right? But in fact, it doesn't even matter if you use it. Just don't pretend you're not using it, so you could chase clout. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, I beat the game on Grounded, but then you turned on every accessibility, which defeats the purpose of Grounded, right? I don't know. It's just weird the shit people brag. But anyway, so you all right? So what else? What else, Extreme? Hello?
Listen, today I'm sorry to everyone, but I have people messing with the internet here. So
you
if
might
my
be
internet is just dropping out and
okay. All right, no doubt. All right, no problem.
Exactly. So that's pretty much all the thing. But aside from that, everything's good. And I'm on a better mic now because they pulled me back on for a bit. So
oh my god. All right. So let's get to the super chat.
Hopefully it sounds better.
So you know what? We could probably flip the.
We're gonna start with the prediction.
We could start with the prediction, right? We could start with the prediction. Okay. I'll flip it around, then we'll merge into. I'll flip it around. So we'll start with the Xbox Showcase prediction. We'll start with that. All right. We'll go down the line. We'll start from the top. We'll start with Call Me Jay. What's your prediction? So, hey, Braxton, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the prediction real quick, and then we'll talk right into because that's a great question, and I think we'll segue right into what we think of how this will impact PlayStation. I think that's a great question. All right. So, Call Me Jay, what do you think? What's your prediction for this? So Xbox Blowcase.
I'm going to be 100% honest. I've never been honest on this podcast before, but this is my very first time.
Oh, shit.
The reality is, chat, I don't care. You know why? Because I got Game Pass, everything coming. I'm just kidding. So my prediction, I don't have much prediction.
No, that was honest. That was honest. Keep going.
Hey, don't call me out. Don't call me out. I said this on Uni's space earlier today. I don't really have many wants other than Fable. Fable's the only game I hope to see, and gameplay, hopefully. But for the most part, my predictions or things that I want, I should say, are like actual gameplay and release dates. That's really it. I don't care if it's shown on PC. I don't care if it's shown on the Xbox. Like, I know some people want them to be like shown on Xbox, but it's like it doesn't really matter to me.
Well, that's because you play on PC.
Dates.
It does.
But it's because you play on PC.
Yeah.
That's why it don't matter to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because even if they show that console, you know your PC will show it better.
Yeah.
So
I got a Series XXX. Okay, I'm good. So
you're good. So no matter what they show, you
yeah,
know.
if
they show the PC version, yep, my game's gonna look like that.
Okay,
if they don't show the PC version, my version's gonna look better than that. So
there you go.
It's a win-win.
If they show Fable, to me, well, obviously Starfield's gonna be there, right? Doesn't
that's
matter
gonna be
because
that's a
of
separate event.
Okay, well, let's not count Starfield then.
Because Starfield, they have I think it's called a Starfield Direct.
Yeah, I'm only expecting, the only thing I want them to show is Fable. That's it. Everything else, I don't really care what they do. Hopefully they bring out surprises for me that I'm like, okay, that's fucking dope. But the biggest thing that I want is release dates and actual gameplay.
All right.
That's it.
Okay. If they did have a surprise, what might surprise you? What do you think would be like surprising for you?
What's that game called, bro? God damn it, dude.
Valve?
No, it's an
Outer
old
Worlds?
game. It's
Outer World?
It's an old game.
Mech Warrior?
No, I'll let someone
Is
else.
it a playing game? Can you explain it? Describe it.
I don't want to describe it. I just want to say the name because people will know the name. So I'll let someone else go, and then I'll shadow drop the name of the game when I find it.
Oh man! All right. Okay. All right. So go with Messiah. What's your predictions? What do you think might happen?
I think they're gonna have a really they're gonna have a good showcase. This is what I've been told.
Okay.
But as far as what I would like to see,
Who told you?
Hellblade 2. No, Hellblade 2 is going to be shown. Like,
okay.
see what it looks like.
That's what I would like to see. Yeah. All right.
And I like the first Hellblade, so that's what But sort of to see how they changed it up, see if they're going to still use the kind of the system they were using. But Fable, I think Call Me Jay mentioned that, and
yes,
I agree. I would like.
You
to
think
see
Fable's going to be there?
Fingers crossed, and Forza with some fingers crossed.
D-True said Marlo Briggs 2 is going to be there.
Yeah. So Forza. I'm excited, because I've been playing Forza for a while. So
I don't think y'all know what he's talking about. You got to be old school for that one. I know exactly what D-Truth is talking about with Marlo Briggs.
Yeah, but
I don't know. Yeah, if you know, you know. If you know Marlo Briggs, you know.
And Starfield running at 60. That's what everybody wants to see. Starfield running at 60 frames per second. So we're going to find out on Sunday what's going on with that game. Are they going to show it running on the PC? Are they going to show it running on the box? And if it's running on the box...
it's running on PC.
Yeah, well, it's got to run 60 on the box. And they have to... I would like to see the surprise.
Well, it's going to run at 60 on the box.
It should.
Starfield?
It should. No Man's Sky runs at 60, and it's a bigger game.
It's going to run at 60 on the stream because it's 4K 60, but when you're playing it on the console, it's not going to be 60.
It's fine. We're going to, as I said, we will.
I found it.
Okay, well, I believe it. Yeah.
I found the game I want them to bring back.
What?
I want them to remake Voodoo Vince.
Oh shit! This guy, bro.
But a 30, what you call it? Microsoft Flight Sim.
This is Voodoo Vince.
And Blinks as well.
Oh shit!
And Phantom Dust. I want them to bring back Phantom Dust
with original assets.
No, but for real. Someone said in the chat. I agree with that. I would like to see a new Crackdown game because I enjoy Crackdown.
Yeah, and let me finish real fast. The Microsoft Flight Sim game getting a 60 patch, and these guys. I said this on Twitter.
60 patch for what?
Running around for the Flight Sim game. And what you call it? These guys bragging about
That they're
Microsoft's.
wait, hold on. They're gonna say that on the show. You're predicting that they're gonna do that on the show? 60 frames?
It's a surprise. I said as a surprise.
It's gonna be. No, I'm saying
Fran-
it's gonna be a surprise.
Yeah.
60 frames.
For the flight sim.
Flight
game.
sim?
Patch.
Hell yeah.
All right.
So and like I said, these guys bragging about games being on a game console. You sound like it's like a prostitute bragging about sucking guys off. You're supposed to have games on your game console. So
Fuck yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's what I would like to see. But yeah.
So
give
you
me
like
that?
Right. So you like to see Hellblade and a 60 frame patch for Flight Sim?
Yeah,
Yeah,
as a surprise. And Fable, I'd like to see it, but I'm not going to explode if they don't have Fable. So I'm just going to be like, oh, okay, it's down the line. Maybe they have a sit down with the developers on where they are in the process. And
They're
what
not
to
doing that.
expect.
They're not doing that.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine too.
They're just telling them make the shit and release it. That's how they
probably
roll.
what
That's
they're
all they give a
doing. We'll
fuck.
find out.
Just
Yeah, we'll
launch
find
this
out on
shit
Sunday.
right now. Phil
Yeah.
Spencer's like, just shut the fuck up and launch it. I
Yeah.
ain't trying to hear this bull. They're only paying $8, so who gives a fuck?
It's gonna be a surprise visit to their studios, and everybody's on their computer looking at the camera like, "Fuck, bro, take me out of this shit."
All right. This is gonna be funny. Extreme. What about you? Any predictions for the showcase?
Yo, hey, listen. First of all, there's only one. You know I hate predictions, so I'm not gonna waste anyone's time. I expect to be disappointed. That has been Microsoft's MO for ages now. So whatever it is, I just expect disappointment. I do. There's many ways that they can go about it. In fact, there are so many ways that they can disappoint me that I can almost guarantee that I personally will be disappointed by the show. And I want to make sure that everybody knows that even the 2020 show, I was disappointed by. The 2021 show, I was disappointed by. People were like talking about all the CGI trailers and like Fable that showed nothing, Contraband, nothing, Starfield, garbage, all of these things. And people were like, it's a great show. So again, if you are on the Xbox side, if you love the show, please love it. I love it for you. I am so happy for you.
If you like it, I love it.
Show. I love it. I love it. Love it to death, But I personally do expect it to be disappointed. I am sure they're going to show games on PC, which I am not a PC gamer. I'm a movie gamer. And my DVD player of choice is a console. So that's not gonna be any good for me. I expect that half of the titles that they do show that people have on this list are going to be disappointing visually because fuck you, you only pay them $10 a month. Why would they give you something good? And you've already paid them. Like you prepay for the shit you're gonna receive. So, like, what's the incentive?
Yes, sir.
What is it? They don't have to sell you on a game. They don't even have to sell you on Game Pass because the value of Game Pass is in its quantity, in its catalog, and in this mythical notion that you're going to want to play every single game there. So you're already sold or you're not sold. Either way, you don't matter. So it's fine. I'm going to be disappointed because of that. And the only thing that will make me happy, the only thing that will take this show from like, oh, I'm disappointed to this is the most epic moment in history is if they cancel Game Pass day and date. They have to get rid of that promise.
Agreed.
Because then they actually have to be accountable to the gamers. Unless they do that,
that ain't happening.
you
might as well not even. You might as well not even watch. You might as well not even.
That's some extreme. That's legit some
you-
trademark extreme
you-
shit, but I agree with
You
him.
might as well
That
take
would
a
be
holiday.
insane.
Just take a holiday this week because that shit ain't happening.
First of all,
he said,
can I just say,
imagine a showcase when they announce, and ladies and gentlemen, as our final announcement, fuck you, we're done with day and date. Like, yeah, that.
hey, listen, real quick. So the thing
We
is,
take
they
that shit
already
back.
do this. They already do this because they released Forza Horizon 5 1 week early for early access. Early access is just day and date, and everybody else gets delayed. That's literally what early access is. They're just playing you.
Yep.
They were like, hey, if you want to play this game on time, pay the full price.
He said,
Everybody else, wait.
He said, day and date is actually the day the early said. You just have to wait.
Isn't it though?
You know what it is? Because they slick. They announce the later day. Hey, this game's coming out,
Exactly.
August 5th. And
Yeah,
then a
and
week
then they tell
later,
you, oh, no,
if you pay
you can get it
$70,
early.
you get to play
Yeah.
August 1st. Like, wait a minute.
No.
August 1st is the actual release date.
Exactly. Yo, P-Rock, imagine that I create a club, right?
It's just
and
how
it's like
they
the
say
hardest
it.
thing popping.
Yeah.
and I tell you, hey man, P-Rock, you're my friend, come down to Australia, man. You're gonna be first in the door. Okay, so you're like, I bet. You make it all the way here, you come through, and you're like, yep, you're first at the door, you come through, and you realize there's 10,000 people already in there.
like
and you're like, yo, what the fuck happened?
No,
I thought I was going to be first at the door.
No, that's the pre-party. You're the first to the party.
Exactly, right?
That's the pre-party.
Exactly. I'm like, nah, that's the staff and the friends.
Like, bro, they drank all the liquor.
Everything's gone. There's no more food at the bar. There's no more drinks to be had.
Oh,
like
shit.
Everybody's winding down for the night. You're just like, whoa, what happened?
That's a good one. All right.
So listen.
So he needs to hear a Game Pass announcement. Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let's try to move on. JayBari. You know what I'm saying? One of the two titans of the best PlayStation podcast on YouTube. What's up, PlayStation? What's going on, my brother? Give me your predictions. You have years of Xbox experience, right? From Facebook, what is it? What was that shit called that Zaire had? Bang Bang. From the Bang Bang days to the YouTube, you seen it all, right? You even warned me, like, Puerto Rock, don't get an Xbox, bro. There's not much shit in there, right? Let us know. What is your prediction? What do you think Microsoft can pull off in 2023?
Well, to be honest with you, I feel like they can't have a bad show.
Facts.
Because one of my biggest arguments when it comes to Xbox is that when they started this generation, they showed a whole bunch of games from first party coming to Xbox Series consoles, and they haven't showed those games since 2020. So my whole point is like, those games that you showed in 2020, they have to be here at this showcase, right?
It's been 3 years.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That was my mindset when it came to PlayStation Showcase. That's my mindset going into Xbox Showcase, but maybe that it won't pan out that way. You know what I mean? maybe these companies are not that smart. We just gotta take them for face value that they are dumb. But I really feel like Xbox they're gonna show majority of those games. I don't know if everyone's gonna be there, but at the end of the day, I don't really give a fuck about Xbox. To keep it a stack, man. You know what I mean? So,
can I speak on the PlayStation thing though?
The what?
The PlayStation thing, because I've had some thoughts about the PlayStation Showcase, and it's been 2 weeks.
Listen, it's dog shit, bro.
No. I'm not gonna change that. I agree. I saw the light.
And the more I see that Q light, the worse it gets, bro. Like, yo, that is the most uninspired design. Like, I seen jokes of people putting an iPad. They take 2 controllers and they put the iPad on top of it to make it look like Splat. I'm like, but technically, that's all the fuck it is. It literally is that, like, that little meme. That is like the most. Oh my god, that shit's just like, it's terrible. It gets worse every time I look at it. I'm like, this thing is garbage. What were you gonna say,
I agree with you. No, what I was going to say is that I was talking to a friend lately, and we were talking about cars, and we mentioned Porsche, and he was talking about the new 911s and the 911s, and all of those names. You can tell I'm a Porsche fan because they have all those numbers for cars. But I was talking to him about the Porsche Cayenne, and I was telling him that when the Cayenne was released, Porsche fans hated it. Like, they absolutely loved the Cayenne. And long story short, it saved the brand, and it allowed Porsche to get the money to keep investing in the sports cars that original Porsche fans loved.
And
then when I said that to him, I realized that's what Jim Ryan is doing with live services for PlayStation.
I know what you're doing.
Because we hate it, right? As PlayStation core fans, we hate all of this. The Q Lite, the move to PC, the focus on live services to almost the detriment of what we want to see. And I realized this is a Porsche Cayenne moment for PlayStation. They are trying to find the revenue source that is going to allow them to keep making those single player games that we love, that are going to be exponentially more expensive as time goes on. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to succeed in that, but now I realize that's the mindset that I think Jim Ryan is putting forward. That's why you see the integration between movies and games way tighter than we would like it to be. We don't want to see a movie showcase at a game show. But I think that's what he's looking for. He's looking for, okay, how am I going to generate revenue in order to keep paying for God of War, the next God of War, and then all of the, the next game for Naughty Dog, that's probably going to cost $300 million, so on and so forth. So that was my thought on it. And yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
So let's talk about it. We'll go to that and then we'll go back to Xbox. Here's the thing. I don't think, well, I ain't gonna say I don't think. I understand there's gamers who are simplifying the argument to where, oh, GaaS game sucks. Yet Fortnite, Overwatch, you cannot argue with the success of GaaS games. There isn't a lot, but you can't argue that when it hits, it's a long sustaining system. Look at Grand Theft Auto, Online, Destiny. When it hits, it hits. So I understand what Sony wants to do. The numbers don't lie. GaaS games, at the multiplayer level, they are very successful when they're done right. I think the issue with the PlayStation or I think where Sony's having this trouble trying to connect PlayStation to buy onto it is because they're not really showing us the PlayStation way of GaaS, right? Like I mentioned in one of my videos in a podcast, if Sony unveils, let's say like SOCOM, like try to be like, hey, we're gonna do GaaS, but we also have to keep in mind the people we're having a conversation with are the hardcore. The casuals, they're not watching every step that we move. They don't know that 60% of the budget is going towards live service games. They don't know this stuff. The people who are paying attention is like the hardcore gamers, the PlayStation gamers are influencers. We're paying attention to every single step Sony's taking. And it doesn't, and so far, Sony seems tone deaf to us who are paying attention, right? Like if you want to make stuff grow, right? All right. If you want GaaS to be part of the ecosystem to make revenue, got it. But it's like shit like Foam Star or Condor, all this weird shit the way, because none of that makes sense. Like we don't know what you're doing, right? If they were to put more focus.
Like, but Foam Star is Square Enix, no?
Yeah.
It's not them.
Yeah.
No, it's not them, but they put that shit on the show, so clearly they want something, right? Like, if they were to show, like, if they started off, be like, yo, a brand new, up-to-date reimagining of SOCOM, I don't think there's any PlayStation gamers that's going to argue with that. We're like, oh, shit,
that's not going to happen, though, because these things are not for us. That's why the Cayenne wasn't for like the 911 drivers or the 991, 917. All of those guys were not interested in SUVs or sedans from Porsche. So when they were putting it, they felt exactly the way you feel now, which is like, not only are you going in a different direction, but there's like no link, no lineage between what we love and what you're putting out there. And I feel like that showcase, it just wasn't for us. It was to the casuals. Because guess what? Casuals probably don't really know about Splatoon.
But
we see it immediately and we are like...
No, they know because it sold 40 million. But here's the problem. See, I understand your car reference, right? The problem is, eventually you're going to move on to a new car, right? Gaming, the casuals are playing Fortnite. And you're not going to pull them out. They're not leaving Fortnite for a new PlayStation game. So how do you get new content to blow up big? The only people that's willing to experiment and be like, yo, let's do this new content is the hardcore. Because the casuals, they got their game. They're on Fortnite. They're not leaving. You're not going to pull them out of Fortnite. You're not. It's done. The guys on Call of Duty, they've been on Call of Duty since 2007. They're not leaving. They're not going anywhere. They're stuck on that.
Especially now
you
with
Warzone. Think about it. Think about it. Everybody's talking about GaaS. And I had this conversation on Twitter, right? He's, because the guy got pissed off. I think it was on Persona's tweet, or I think it was Persona saying, hey, Sony, pay attention, because Knockout City is closing their online, right? And then I just made a joke. I used a Bird Box GIF, and I said PlayStation be like. And another guy's like, oh, but look at, Fortnite, Call of Duty, blah, 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 blah. These are all successful. So when it hits, I'm like, my reply to him was like, notice you didn't mention nothing new this gen. Not one game on your list is a GaaS game from this gen over the last 3 years. Not one. That should tell you something. Like, everybody who's talking about GaaS, they keep referencing the old shit. Why do we keep referencing the old shit? It's because the new shit's failed. There is technically no successful GaaS game that was created this gen. And we're already in our third year. Everything that people talk about is Fortnite.
This gen, they have been shutting down very quick.
Yes.
They'd be like,
far, back to back.
Like if I asked you, hey, if GaaS successful, name me the GaaS games that are successful, but here's the caveat. You cannot name me shit that released before 2020. before the launch of the PS5 and Xbox Series X, you could only name me games starting from the launch of PS5 and Xbox Series X. And you got nothing. There's literally nothing. Barely anything.
Babylon's Fall.
Hey,
What do you mean?
listen.
You see what I'm saying?
You know how I feel about GaaS games.
I know, but
so
the
I'm
point
not
is
gonna
that I
defend
understand
them.
where Sony is coming from, right? But
Yeah.
they're not going to get it from the Fortnite crowd. Why? Because the Fortnite crowd already has their game. It's called Fortnite. People are already on, Call of Duty. People are already on, Apex Legends. They're already there. Like, those games, they're perpetual. You're fucked because you're not pulling them out. Those guys at best might try your game. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm going back to Fortnite. That's why a lot of these servers are shutting down because they're not staying.
Yeah.
They're going to go back to their old shit. So you want these new games, who are the only ones that's going to actually push or whatever and stuff like that. Like, for example, if you release SOCOM, the old crowd, and if it's good, the old crowd that been on PlayStation all this time, they will gravitate to that. And they can build the momentum to make that game bigger and bigger and bigger. But Foam Stars,
Listen,
I'm not even going to talk about that
I don't
game.
think SOCOM is going to do it. I don't think appealing to people like yourself is going to be. I think the Venn diagram between people that care about SOCOM and people that will fall into the live service mantra is extremely small. I think that intersection is too small for what they want. I think they have to try new ideas or copy ideas from Nintendo, I suppose. So I just don't think we're going to get like classic games made again and then turned into a live service.
So,
I think they're always going to try new
I slightly
ideas.
disagree.
copy, but here's the thing. One, copy games don't ever work. Ever.
Yep.
Ever.
I agree with you.
Ever.
Again, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
saying.
a good strategy.
I'm saying,
I just
copy-
also
yeah.
don't think that
Yeah.
SOCOM is going to work.
But that's the thing.
I think it would, because SOCOM is a really
SOCOM's
good
unique.
game.
It's a unique
Yeah.
game.
So the way that Fortnite blew up, it wasn't because out of the thin air everybody was like, okay, Fortnite's amazing. It's because everybody that tried it was like, yo, this game's legit. Let's jump in, and that's how it blew up. If they bring back SOCOM and they do it well, like the old SOCOMs, not SOCOM 4, that shit is dog shit.
SOCOM
And
2.
all the communities that there are still communities to this day playing SOCOM on
PC.
PS2 emulators and shit like that. Yeah, so all the YouTubers, all the Twitch streamers, all these motherfuckers everywhere, we're just gonna start posting it. The people that see it that are interested, they're gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna try it. Same as Fortnite. And it might not blow up like Fortnite, but it'll be big enough to where it'll have its own niche in the market because there is no game like SOCOM right now.
Right now, I can tell you,
Unfortunately.
the copy games are not going to work because if you're copying off of another original game, then people are just going to stay with the original because it's the original and it's better. Copy games seldom ever do good.
Extreme has a point too.
Here's what I was saying. Number one, I agree with you guys. I'm completely in agreement. I don't think that copying the game from someone. I don't think Splatoon people are going to play Foam Star. Let's just say that. Mm-hmm. Number two, though, I think I want to say that for the next few years, we are going to feel that PlayStation is going to be more and more tone deaf to what we want. I think they are going to have to make this transition. I think this is their new focus. And I think for the next 2 or 3 years, you're going to feel a little bit left to the wayside as a core PlayStation fan, as they get these things moving and as they get themselves, like as they figure out the strategy. And then, just like Porsche, they are going to come and give you what you want, and you're going to work back in. And at the end of 5 years, they will have the live service cloud, and they will have the single player cloud, and everybody will be satisfied.
The reason, all right, so you use your Cayenne and the SUV. Those ideas ended up being successful, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What if PlayStation's plan, they avoid us for this new crowd, but the new crowd don't buy in on it either. So now those projects failed. So now you ain't giving us what we want, and the stuff you did, you invested billions into, they're shutting down servers. Now what? So what happens then?
Well, then you're in trouble, right? But I think they have to try.
You see, but that's the thing. They don't have to try. That's why I don't understand. They don't have to go this hard. They don't.
They do, though.
No, they don't.
Because
the
thing is, our single player games are massive bets, and they are getting more and more expensive to make. So the money has to come from somewhere. And yes, a God of War is guaranteed. But imagine that a PlayStation Studio had made Forspoken. Sure, it didn't flop at like the way that people, say that it did, but it wasn't as successful as a Horizon. So again, it's like that would be taking a massive $100-200 million bet, and if it doesn't work out, that's money down the drain. So something has to cover that. I feel.
So let me ask you this: where are they getting the money to cover down on these GaaS games? From the success that they're making. 60% of the budget. Wait, listen. 60% of the budget for video games eventually is going to go to GaaS games. So the money's already there.
That's exactly. Yeah.
You know, the money's already there.
Yeah. No.
Now, what if that 60% budget flops? So now we got no money for the single player games because you wasted it all on titles that didn't work. Everybody thinks that these GaaS games could easily be that you see more. Again, we have not had one successful GaaS game released this gen. Not one. Every GaaS game that's successful is old.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Again, I do. And I do understand that they are using the money that they made from the single player, but this is no different than Porsche. Where did they get the money for the Cayenne? They used the money from their sports cars. And yes, it could have failed, it could have flopped, and the company would have shut down. But the point is, they had to take the risk. And I feel like this is just a time period that we are in to PlayStation, where for so long, people have said that PlayStation cannot make good, long-lasting multiplayer games. And PlayStation is like, well, this is a hole in our portfolio. And also, this has the potential to be a great revenue source. So those two things are aligned, and it makes sense for them to give that a go. But in the meantime, we as a core audience are going to feel some type of way because we are going to say that the priorities are not apparent to us to be going in our way. So that's why I said that when I was talking about the community to my friend about what happened and how it went down, I was like, yeah, people were jaded, you know, and I was like, oh, this is the same thing that I'm experiencing as a PlayStation fan. I feel jaded that the PlayStation Showcase was far more about the live services than appeal to a crowd that doesn't exist yet, because there's no live service PlayStation fan yet. They're just trying to create those.
Again, I mean, I don't understand why people don't get that corporations will reinvest in themselves, and that you know, if people are going to feel some kind of way, I mean, Chocolate Thunder got double life, so I mean, you're just going to have. I don't think they might. I guess that's just the best way to put it. The showcase, when you look at if you literally do the reading, when Sony said you're invited, it seems like to me, and I talked about this the other day, it's like nobody read what Sony said they were going to have there, and everybody put what they wanted them to do out there, and they got that sale visit like Hell in a Cell with Chocolate Thunder. Sony, if you read it, I'm not going to say pull it up. You guys need to do your own reading. And it clearly says, when it says you're invited, it says you're going to see this, this, and this. Nope, that's what they said. So I've said this before. It doesn't matter if they tell you exactly what they're going to show. People are going to, because people are trying to make content and they get money and they get donos and super chats. They're going to do what they're doing, and this is going to lead to more and more disappointment. I implore people to do the reading. I'm a core PlayStation fan. I understand they have, as you said, Extreme, they got to create new revenue streams, and the GaaS is a way for them to. They see something that we may not see, and I think that's fair. I said on this podcast over a year ago when people were saying Sony was going in the wrong direction. The same people, and I'm sure you've seen it too, Extreme. They're bragging about the numbers. It's like, okay, well, this is part of the direction that you said they were going in the wrong direction. So it's just like
they're branching off. That's why PC's a thing. That's why you have the subscription with the different tiers. They're trying to expand.
That's why you have this Q Lite, which I think is a dumb device. But it could be a hit. You know, like I don't know exactly where it will be a hit. I don't know why, but it could be.
Yeah, if it doesn't hit in Japan, it may not hit at all. But I understand that, me personally, as somebody who knows who to live in Japan, a lot of them don't. A lot of that culture, they're on the go. You will see them constantly gaming. You know, I mean, people have seen it. You can just pull it up on YouTube. So if that's their target, then they deserve to go out there and fail. Okay, they're going to put the money behind it. They deserve to go out there and try to fail because. I watched. I'm a big fan of what Elon Musk is doing at SpaceX. That was when they landed those rockets years ago. That had never been done before. But again, they failed. He said they failed over 100 times trying to land those rockets. They finally found out. They finally learned how to do it.
That was CGI. It was running on a PS5.
It could have been, but yeah. I mean, these core gamers, like I said, to me personally, just need to do the reading. I'm not going to insult people. It's generational. I'm Gen X. We had to do the reading. Sony clearly put out what was going to be at this show, and you had people putting out all kind of BS. And it's just like, okay, you guys are going to get it. And but they have to try to create revenue streams, and they deserve to fail. None of these entrepreneurs would have succeeded if 100 restaurants failed.
Of course.
Why did McDonald's succeed? Why did McDonald's succeed? You know, but a lot of places fail.
Yeah,
but
you guys are talking. You guys are talking like stock owners and not like gamers.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm hearing financial specialists talking. I am not hearing any gamers talking right now. I'm hearing financial specialists talking. Like this doesn't even make sense.
P-Rock. I'm not coming from that angle. I'm just saying that we have to be able to say, okay, we are in a transitory moment, and we have to then try to understand why are we here, what is the game plan, because otherwise I think people think that Jim Ryan is somehow just like clueless, and I don't agree with that, because I'm like, no, this guy turned, you know, the weakest market in Europe into the most successful market, so he clearly knows what he's doing. And so then I try to sit down and figure out, okay, what's the direction here? Why do I feel so? I felt that the PlayStation Showcase was so misaligned to what the core fans wanted. And I'm like, well, there still must be some kind of direction. And this is the best that I've been able to come up with. I'm not saying that it's right, but I don't want to say that I'm talking like an investor. I'm just trying to understand
where we're in the PlayStation. Let me ask you this. So if we're going to use, they did X, Y, and Z to be successful. Okay, well, I'm going to use that same scenario. The people who created the PS3, which was a disaster, those were the same people that did X, Y, Z and created a console that to this day is the highest selling console of all time, 150 plus million. And it was the first console to sell over 1 billion games. And there was no digital distribution back then. It's 100 and it was over 1.5 billion games, all physical. So to say you did this, so obviously you know that's not necessarily true, because the same people who created the 150 million selling PlayStation 2 that sold 1.5 billion physical games, all physical, there was no digital distribution, so it was much tougher to get games around. They thought the PS3 was not only a good idea, but they had the nerve to tell us we're going to work 2 jobs. The nerve.
Yeah.
So you could easily be blinded and make a quick mistake by not reading the room. You know what I'm saying? So just because you were successful in one area doesn't necessarily mean you know the right decision. Sure, can companies fail? Got it. I mean, at the end of the day, the money's not coming out of my bank account. If Sony fucks up, hey, PC's around, maybe Xbox is still around, maybe Nintendo. If let's say PlayStation's gone, Nintendo could be like, you know what? PlayStation's gone. Xbox is dog shit. Yeah, it's time for us to get back in the game and create what's the biggest
difference between then and now?
What's up?
What's the biggest difference? The biggest difference is that the PlayStation 3 was a singular idea, a singular path that they wanted to walk, and it was the wrong one, obviously. But the thing is, this time, look at what Jim Ryan is doing. He's hedging his bets. He's got PC. He's got the Q-Lite coming for whatever reason. Don't agree with it. He's got the whole live service push. He's got the whole movie and, you know, kind of like tighter integration into all of Sony Electronics.
That was Sean Layton's idea.
Okay, listen, I don't like to do this. We're not in a boardroom. Like, we don't know.
I'm going to say this.
He was there. I will
say this. He doesn't really have PC. PC is giving good income. But if the console fucks up, PC's not making enough money to cover that. Yeah, they're making nowhere near what I'm trying to say to cover that mistake.
The PlayStation 3 was a singular path. Now he's trying to branch out into like 4 or 5 different things because he's also got VR. And yes, I know it wasn't his idea, but you get what I mean. Like there's multiple places where they are putting their dollars and where they are trying to investigate what will work and what will not work. So I feel like that's the biggest difference.
But they did that with the PS3 as well. The PS3 was the same thing. In fact,
you have
the whole point.
You have Move, you have crossplay, you have PSP sync.
No, but not just that. No, not just that. The console itself was what it was for. Blu-ray. That's a unique path that to this day everyone uses it now. Well, not everyone not anymore because of streaming, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
PS3 was the Blu-ray path, and hold up, PS3 was also the CPU path. They try to compete against Intel. They're like, you know what?
Yep.
We got the cell processor.
IBM,
this is a better processor than Intel, and we're gonna prove it to you with the PS3. So they tried the same thing. They tried various lanes. They tried the multimedia lane with Blu-ray. They tried the silicon processor CPU competitive market with the cell processor. And the whole point is this: you can let's say the PC, let's say like VR. We'll use VR. VR is one path that you mentioned, right? But VR doesn't really interfere with the console path. PC, the way they managed it, because they managed it different than Microsoft, that didn't really interfere with the console path. Nope. But this live service games, right? Especially how hard they're going into it. Again, 60-40. It's not like a 70-30. Where, all right, 70-30, 70% of the games is what got us here, is what got us to this point, what's got us this notoriety of PlayStation excellence. So 70% that, and then we're going to invest 30% and see how it goes. Some of these GaaS games are successful, we're going to increase the budget, whatever. But they're not doing that. They're already banking that the GaaS games is going to be successful. So we're going to reduce the budget to put more into this, because this is where the money's really going to come from. You understand what I'm saying?
But are they reducing the budget, or are they just increasing the overall budget?
No, so right now, 80% of the budget goes to single player games. They're shifting. Yeah. Now it's 50-50. By 2025, 60-40. So the majority of the money.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you were to give it absolute amount, so let's say right now they put $500 million a year into single player. No, in 2025, I'm
gonna show you. I know what you mean.
I've seen the graph. I've seen the graph.
Yeah, but
in 2025, what if they still put $500 million? It's just that they are putting another $600 million that came from another part of the company into non-live service. So you're not actually reducing the budget for single player. It's just that the overall graph
let's say because the money's going to increase. Let's say, for example, if you invest $500 million in single player games in 2020, in 2025 you're still investing $500 million. Sure, you didn't shortchange it.
Yeah.
But over 5 years, the money's supposed to get bigger. Like, you're supposed to put more money, because the amount of money you put in the beginning of the gen can't be the same money towards the end of the gen. The money has to grow. You understand what I'm saying? Like, for example, I guarantee they didn't put in a $500 million budget during the PS2 gen. Every generation, as you put more, invest more money into that. Mm-hmm. If you grow a lot more money, but you restrict single player to a locked budget of $500 million, everything else is going to GaaS. Then all the investors going to GaaS and stuff like that, while you just pretty much, and then what's his name from Sacred Symbols, right? He mentioned, because I saw him on the Islanders podcast, he says, according to him, Sony really only plans to release 1 to 2 single player games a year. They said that's over with. You're not going to get the same amount of single player games that we're going to get. And that's what's crazy. I'm not saying don't make GaaS games. Make the GaaS games. Invest it. Release 6 of them if you want. But why are you changing the very thing that got you to this success? Like, don't change the single player system. I'm not saying ignore or eliminate. I'm saying if you want to release 3 GaaS games a year, release the 3 GaaS games a year. But why are you limiting single player game, reducing the output? Why don't you create the same output of single player games and make GaaS games the additional games on top of that? That's what I think overall is crazy. Because according to him, he's saying, Sony, you're probably only going to see 1 to 2 single player games from their first party per year, and that's it. That's all you're going to get. Everything else is GaaS, which is less.
See, the thing is, my point was to say that using the graph, because it talks about percentages when we don't know the total amount, that is mathematically flawed, because so many things could be going on. So that was my point. Because the thing is, they could be increasing the budget. They could put $500 million in 2024, $600 million in 2025, and it still be looking at 40, 60 just because the pie is increasing. So mathematically, it's not enough of a data point to make that distinction. Secondly, I don't give a fuck about insiders. Whether it's Colin Moriarty or Jeff Grubb or Jez Golden, I don't give a shit about anything that they say. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what we actually get as gamers. But I just think that, again, my original point isn't so much that I agree with this direction, but that this is the direction. And I think that people are going to have to make their peace with that. Whether you are against it and you just fight it every step of the way, fair enough. Or whether you just come to accept that this is what PlayStation is going to look like for the next few years. because I don't think that PlayStation is going to drop the ball. I think that we will be happy. It's just that we're going to see them fail over and over again while they get this strategy on the way and while they begin to understand what it is that they need to do.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Failure for us means we don't get shit. Are you going to play failure? I'm not playing failure.
I don't mind failure, but my biggest problem with their live service push is not
I get the
that they're
effort.
doing
I'm
it.
asking you guys, are you guys going to play these failed games?
Oh, definitely not. Why would I?
So then what are you playing then?
know.
Why are you playing on PlayStation then?
I'm going to play the single player games.
But they're not making any.
The
They're barely making any.
Nah, they're making them. Come on.
You're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, Sony's gonna do this big push because that's the plan, while at the same time we're gonna get all the single player games. You're not gonna get a lot.
Yes, that's exactly what I expect.
So let me put you play. So let's say if Sony releases one single player game a year, you're happy on PlayStation with one single player game
I would
a
like
year?
at least two.
You see what I'm saying?
At least two.
Like once, like that's not enough.
But they literally said that they plan to release at least 2 single player games a year.
That's not enough, though. That's not enough. 2 games
How
a
many do
year.
you want, actually?
2 games a year.
How many do you want?
2 games a
We
year.
just don't know the whole picture, on my honest opinion. We don't
But
really know
wait.
the whole picture.
Me personally,
hasn't that been the cadence?
I personally will hope that they will grow to like 4 or 5 a year.
So what I'm
Or 5
saying
to
is,
release single player games a year.
Right.
Yes.
From my perspective,
They have
obviously,
you know how many
year.
you know how many studios, you know what I'm saying? You know how many studios they have? You understand what I'm saying?
Not
like
enough.
Remember,
Not
you know
enough for
what
that
I'm saying?
output.
You know, like listen, 1 or 2 PlayStation, like if I have a console and the only thing this PlayStation console is giving me is like 2 games a year, then I don't really need
hold
this console.
on. Do you mean like exclusives, like they can partner with Square Enix like they're doing now, or do you mean from first party?
From first party.
But has that been the case on like the last generation? Have we
it
received
has
more
happened
than
before,
2
but it's
games?
not. It has
Yeah,
happened, but
it's
it's
rare.
not like. Right. I just think obviously we can all agree here that single live service games hold over people more than single player games, for the most part. Like a multiplayer game, let's not call it live service, but a multiplayer game holds people over more than single player. And we also know that Sony is known to take their time with their games or their single player games because they are always pushing the bar and they always want to try and come out as polished as possible. You know? So I think I don't see a problem with 2 games a year because they are known to take their time unless you want more Game Pass quality games from their first party. And I think them releasing first party live service games that are good. I have a problem with the type of game that they're trying to make. I wish it was SOCOM or something from their backlog, but if it's good, it'll keep people hold over until their next single player game and also make money.
Let me ask you
this.
Jay.
Let me hit the super chat. I just want to say something that Call Me Jay said.
Let me hit the super chat. He says, Porter Rock, are you saying they should maintain a stagnant strategy despite a changing market? Stagnation in tech is like a killer. CIBMJ. Technically speaking, they're not even coming up with a new concept. Listen, I get the whole GaaS, right? But you guys are talking from a start. You guys are defending games you won't even play. Like, let me ask you. You know what? I'm gonna go down the line because this is the shit. JayBari, Extreme. Are you gonna play any of these GaaS games?
All right, let me answer what I want to say first, then I'll answer your question, okay? What I was going to say is that I am happy with 2 first-party games and then a supplementary amount of exclusives from third-party and second-party partners. Now, am I going to play these GaaS games? Sorry, what?
No, I was telling Corey, Death Stranding is the first-party PlayStation game. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So now that I've answered that, I'll go to your question. I will try these GaaS games from PlayStation. I expect them to suck because you know that GaaS games suck, except for the ones that don't. I've made this plenty clear. You know how I am, but I will give them a try. I just expect to be disappointed because GaaS games generally, they just suck. What do you want me to say? That's literally my truth. I'll never change that.
I agree with some of the Extreme's points. Like I like live service games. I play them all the time. But me knowing the amount of IPs that they got, that I know they can bring back, and I know I could be there at the studio being like, "Yo, this is a great idea." Like, think of this. Imagine this, right? With SOCOM or Resistance or Killzone or Warhawk, any of these IPs that are unique and on its own right, and they failed not because they were bad. It's because at that time, the live service wasn't really a thing. Developers weren't into the whole maintaining a game for a long period of time. And also the PSN was having all sorts of issues. So it was very hard to have a game like MAG and have it, be long lasting, or see if it would be long lasting because there were so many issues with PlayStation back then. But today now, me seeing their heist game that one of the studios is making, when I see that, I'm a little disappointed because I'm like, yes, I know that it's a new IP and I'm sure that the studio is excited to work on it, but it's like you have a known IP like SOCOM, for example, that could be insanely huge, but you'd rather do a new IP that nobody really knows about. And your core audience, like us, know that you have better IPs in the backlog that you can bring back and make them boom again. That's my problem with their live service approach.
I actually think that they should do new IP instead of going back to the old, because for the most part, the ones that have been announced, the games live service that have been announced so far are mostly from the new purchases. And I think that if you have a new partnership with a new studio, you should allow them to try their own IP first, rather than
I agree with you.
go to your catalog.
So
again, if you're going to get like Guerrilla to make a live service, then I would like that to be Killzone.
Okay.
But if you're going to get some new person, anyways, that's my point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Hold on.
Game Pass.
This is Haven's new game that they actually showed, right?
What's it called? I was gonna say
Fair
Contraband,
game.
but
And
it's
this
not
is like
Contraband.
one of the most
Fair game.
underwhelming shit I ever seen for review.
The thing is that people already are saying.
Go ahead, JayBari. Go ahead.
At the end of the day, man, when it comes to this live service stuff, we already know that majority of PlayStation fans, they detest live service. So regardless on how you feel and what you think PlayStation strategy is, just knowing from this community itself, like and based off of how people talk, it's trying to set up for failure anyway. You know what I mean? Your motherfuckers ain't gonna play the game anyway. You know what I mean? So it's pointless banter, talk, politics. That's all it is. Because at the end of the day, you motherfuckers not gonna play the games. Plain and simple.
This shit's underwhelming as fuck.
I like when I heard other people talk about this game, about fair game, they were immediately comparing it to Payday, which is really nothing like Payday because Payday is a heist game, but it's not really a PvP heist game. You gotta cooperate with your team to pull shit off. Here, it's like it's like 3 teams of 3, so it's more like Hoods and Outlaws. There was a game called like something like that, where it was basically it's basically this game, but back in medieval times, and you have to go in a castle and steal some shit and extract.
Fair games, like I said, fair games look like it's going to be a cool concept. I did enjoy Payday 2.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I said, PlayStation, when it comes to the live service stuff, I'm not saying they shouldn't go and tackle it or they shouldn't be in that market. I think they should, because PS3 had a lot of online multiplayer games from PlayStation. My thing is that they're opening the door. With a PS3 back then, you didn't need Plus to play those games. Now you do, and you're setting these games on PC as well, where you don't need those paywalls and things like that. So these are the doors that they're opening when they're doing this stuff, especially when they incorporate in PC. And I want to see how they're going to answer and tackle it, or are they going to address it?
Like, are they going to be free to play, these first party games?
I'm sure they know. I think that if it's free to play, then yes, it'll obviously work without a subscription. But if they're gonna charge for them, I know that they're self-aware. They're not fucking stupid. So I think they're gonna be one of the first people to be like, it costs money, but on PlayStation you don't need a PS Plus account to play it, because to be
clear too, like in the chat, don't get it twisted. I play a lot of these live service games. I don't know who the fuck y'all talking to. I'm talking about y'all motherfuckers in the chat. Y'all don't play none of these shits. You know what I mean?
Look at the responses already in the comments. Says, thanks to all our players, but we're unfortunately ending support 1 year later. You can take the.
That's what happened to a lot of these live service this year.
Yeah,
they only been lasting for years. Some of them even last only a couple of months. There was a fighting game one. I forgot the name of it. I think like Rumble Versus or something like that.
Rumble.
Yo, a lot of people was playing that game, and 3 months later, it got canned. You know what I mean? So
you can take
it depends.
You can take the devs out of Ubisoft, but you can't take Ubisoft out of the devs. Hey yo. Look at this one. I am yet to see a scenario where a gang of diverse high schoolers fighting the corporation is not cringe.
I don't know. From that CGI trailer or announcement, you can see certain things that the characters are doing. So it kind of gives you an indication of it's going to be, I guess, sort of physics based. So you can grab anything and just put it in front of you to use it as a shield or throw it, stuff like that. But like I said, I mean. I wish it was something from their backlog, but like Extreme said, I agree because Sony's known to do this when they take a new studio in, they give them, hey, do your own thing, prove to us that you're good, and then we'll give you one of our IPs to work on.
This one's
like I hope all these games do pop off, to be honest with you, but yeah, personally, I want to see a PlayStation on tackle.
Yeah, this one's done.
Awesome.
Fair game is done.
Yep.
This is a year.
If it's paid,
she's
I
losing
hope
a
it's
studio.
paid.
I'm not saying I hope. I'm just saying it's obvious. This shit is fucking done. This shit ain't gonna make it, bro. This shit's not. Especially like when you have games like Gotham Knights and other stuff that has like, IP association to popular characters. Even those games got fucking. Even Avengers got hammered. And those games have like iconic characters, and those games weren't even safe. You got this game? Oh shit! This game's gonna get toasted. This studio's getting shut down.
This didn't even crack 200K views on the video yet.
Yeah,
that's how you can tell like the interest for people.
Yeah, like right here, like what is it?
When they show gameplay, it has to look outstanding.
157K.
If it doesn't look outstanding
in 13 days.
But to be fair, gameplay hasn't been shown yet.
And half the shit is people talking shit. This is like Lawbreakers version 2, bro.
Yeah, the gameplay hasn't been shown yet, so
if the gameplay looks like. If the gameplay's like, oh fuck, people are gonna start talking. Word of mouth is gonna spread everywhere, Reddit, Twitter, whatever, and it's gonna catch on.
I'm just saying, we're gonna go back to the earlier super chat. Yeah, we're gonna answer that. Oh wait, hold up. PlayStation has normally released 2 to 3 big first party games per year every generation. Last year's one a few times. We got 3 because of delays. That's Jace, and you seem like you are manufacturing controversy, defending a game you won't even play. Kids play them, and they are a future market. We gonna skull? The kids are playing Fortnite. I guess. You think they're gonna play fair game? So you're saying these kids are gonna leave Fortnite for fair game?
Bro, Fortnite, you're not gonna take kids off of Fortnite. Fortnite is on their console.
Fortnite
it's on their phone.
It's done.
Yeah, it's on their cloud, whatever the fuck. They have it everywhere.
To branch into, and if anybody's gonna get into GaaS game and want it to be successful, want that longevity, that 5-10 year plan, you're gonna have to find a game that doesn't involve the Fortnite crowd, doesn't involve the Apex Legend crowd, doesn't involve the Call of Duty crowd. Who else is out there? Doesn't involve the Overwatch crowd, doesn't involve the Warframe crowd, doesn't involve the Grand Theft Auto crowd, at a minimum, because those guys ain't going nowhere, and there's a shit ton of people. So you're gonna have to find this crowd that's not really part of those established games. And then you're going to have a successful GaaS game. So whatever that game is, it has to be interesting to get this new group of gamers that are willing to play GaaS, but yet aren't already... Oh, Destiny. I got to throw in Destiny, because that's a goddamn another one. Because those guys are already on there. They're locked in. Because that's the thing about GaaS game Perpetual. When it works, you locked in that group perpetually. They are now yours. And they're not going to go anywhere, except the minor few that might be unhappy every now and then. But for the most part, the Destiny players, they're on Destiny. They're not leaving. They're stuck on Destiny. They're not going nowhere. They're not going to, Remember Outriders. Outriders is a good example. Everybody in the beginning, oh man, this is dope. 3 weeks later, gone. Everybody went back to what they really like, which was already an ecosystem that's locked. You understand?
Outriders is actually a good game, but these developers, when it comes to some of these games, they be like nerfing classes and builds and all that stuff. So once I know there's like a few builds that they nerfed, and then once that happened, people just like, all right, man, I'm good.
And they go back to what? They go back to the shit they like.
Yeah,
it took
pretty
too
much.
long to revert the changes. The game they made it much better now with updates, but it just took too long for Outriders.
And the servers was ass. You could have logged in. You was losing your shit.
Yep.
You know
All
what I
right.
mean?
So now let's go back to Braxton's original question. He goes, so does anyone on the panel actually think PlayStation is in trouble if Xbox Showcase is good? I'll start from the bottom up now. We'll start with JayBari. What do you think? You think
Hell
if
no.
Xbox has a great showcase, this might mean something for the PlayStation?
Listen, this doesn't mean shit for PlayStation. Xbox is in such a bad state. It doesn't matter what, they can have the greatest show in the world. At the end of the day, nothing is stopping the hype train when it comes to PlayStation. You got Final Fantasy, and it's right down the corner. You know, more VR games is coming out to get if you want to get into that. Spider-Man coming out later in the year as well. You know what I mean? We're going to see how these Helldivers and all these other, you know, live service games come in. At the end of the day, PlayStation has set themselves up in a perfect situation where they always have content coming out. There's always banger content that's coming out. So even from the smaller games to the big games, there's always something there. So
Really?
regardless of what Xbox show,
There's only one group that could fuck up PlayStation.
themselves.
That's it, bro. That's the truth, bro. They could fucking, literally, they had the game plan to win the Super Bowl. They are the only ones that could fuck up their own plan. But that's it.
Like,
That's really what it comes down to. It. It's
to
just
be
them.
honest with you,
They're their own worst enemy.
Look at this right here. If they announce Final Fantasy 16 demo during, you know, Summer Game Fest or this week, which most likely is going to happen, and also they've been drip feeding information when it comes to Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Listen, nobody gives a fuck about what Xbox is showing. I know I wouldn't. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be on 16. And yeah, I'm waiting for the next two developer comments when it comes to 7 Rebirth. At the end of the day, I hope the Xbox show is good. Really, truly, because like I said on Twitter, I hope the show is good because the Xbox, they really need that shit. You know what I mean? Like that console is in such a rot that they really need something good going on for them. But at the end of the day, that's something good that they're going to have to continue to wait for these games to come whenever it comes. At the end, if you're a PlayStation fan, you should be worried about nothing about that Xbox show because if you own a console, you're good to go just this month.
I mean, literally, the 22nd, bro. That shit is crazy. I just beat Forspoken. I'm trying to start on Entanto We Trust, right?
Oh, yeah,
then I need to play Horizon, the Burning Shores. Then I need to go back and finish Harry Potter. I'm not going to be able to do that by the 22nd. I'm fucked because the 22nd, I'm playing Final Fantasy. It's happening.
I'm saying, bro.
It's happening,
you know what I mean?
bro. Everything's going to be put on pause. Everything's going to be put on pause.
Like, yo, I'm saying, if you're a PlayStation fan or you're a PlayStation gamer, you're good on this side of the field.
All right, okay, all right. Extreme, what do you think? Do you think if not you personally, but let's say if Xbox overall has a generally well-received show that across all communities, it's a consensus that, you know what, they had a great show. Do you think that spells trouble for PlayStation?
They could have the best show in history and it will change nothing. People need to understand something, all right? PlayStation already won this race. That little thing they did last week or 2 weeks ago, that was them stumbling on the way home. It's like it was funny, we made fun of them, but they already won the race, they were already holding the trophy, all right? We're just laughing because they kind of hurt themselves. So it is completely inconsequential. And in fact, I want to just remind people, as far as games went, if you are a casual person, that was a great time for you. It is a PlayStation Core audience that, rightfully so, they have some issues that they want to see addressed. But honestly, if this is like some kind of like happy moment for Xbox fans, it's like, man, you guys are in dire straits because the guy already won. You understand that, right? Like, this is him stumbling on the way to his car. Like, he's already got the trophy. He already got the girls. Everybody's already following him. He's driving, a Porsche 911 or a Cayenne.
The Cayenne.
You're over there in your Toyota pickup truck.
Car. 60 frames.
Exactly. So listen. I want Xbox to have a great show. Not for me, because I do expect disappointment, but for everybody else. If you're an Xbox fan, this is time for Microsoft to finally start putting out the fire that has been burning down your building. in so long. So if that is going to give you that hope that, hey, I can finally see that they have their things kind of getting figured out, there's a good sense of direction here, there's a good sense of traction, that's excellent for you. That's great for you. But don't look at the other guys and try to talk shit, because you guys are not even in the same tax bracket. Like, this isn't... You're not on the same stage anymore. Like, you guys have been burning for 10 years. You think a good show is going to like miraculously save that and make you compete with... The head of Microsoft told you 2 years ago that his favorite game he was looking forward to was God of War. Then he came back and told you that he will never out-console Sony. What do you want him to say for you to understand that Xbox is done? Like, no. All they can do now is mitigate you and your lower expectations, because that's what you guys have over there. All right? It's a bit like when people go to McDonald's and they have like surprisingly nice fries. It's good for you.
That is
happy.
Good. It's delicious.
But if I'm used to a porterhouse steak, understand that your nice fries don't really affect me much. Just so you know, like there's just a different... It's not even a level, it's a different dimension. It's a different way of life. It's a different way of being. There's no competition. Just have your nice little cute little show so that you can be happy with your cute little Starfield that looks like it's got like PlayStation 2 graphics.
Oh.
You know, maybe they give it to you at 60 frames per second. Like, get more shit in your eyes a little bit faster. I love it for you. If you like it, I love it.
You love it. All right. Hey,
I love it.
Call me Jay. What do you think? You think if this show knocks it out the park, it spells troubles for the PlayStation brand?
Yes, sir. They're gonna close right after.
Oh shit! They're shutting down. That's it.
Yep. No, I don't think so.
They got out-consoled.
Yeah, exactly. Immediately, you know, the ties will shift. But one showcase won't really do much when they've been getting L's after L's after L's. Not even comparing them to PlayStation, just them themselves on their own. They just been getting L's after L's. Mostly this year is, I don't know. If it's a great showcase, then fantastic. Like you took the first step into being what you were supposed to be doing since the Xbox One era. Now it's a matter of waiting until the next year to see if they still got that same energy, because this showcase will be good. You know, if Fable's there, I'm gonna play it. Obviously, you know, I got Game Pass. I play on PC. I can play any game I want. So if it has good games, thank you. But as far as doing something on the PlayStation side, no, not even close.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one thing I wanted to say is, for you guys, the hardcore PlayStation fans, right? Or should I say fanboys, when you saw the conference for the PlayStation Showcase, you were like, no, bro, this is an L. Like, we want to see your fucking first party. But for the majority of PlayStation users, the casuals, they loved it. They were like, this is great. All these games, you know, play Spider-Man, this, that, and the third. So, you know, for the majority, I would say it was a great showcase.
I'm going to be on Team JayBari, right? Because a lot of people, whenever Sony has a bad showcase and they show like indies or all these other games, right? They're like, oh, but you got to understand, they're catering to the casuals everywhere. I'm like, all right, how come I never see these games chart on MPD then? Right, JayBari? You be seeing these games charting? I don't see these games charting.
Absolutely not.
Right?
Yeah.
You think Fair Game's going to chart? I don't think it's going to chart.
Foam Stars will.
Foam Stars going to chart? I don't think they chart. You think Cat of the Pair of Pussy Being is going to chart? I never seen that game chart ever. You see what I'm saying, JayBari? A lot of people tell us about the casuals, but when you look at the MPD top 10, we pretty much are like, these are the shit that people want. Like all that other shit, they and that's why JayBari says, y'all not going to play these games. They're not going to chart. Those games ain't charting because nobody's really going to buy it. You know, I had this, like, when people think of the casuals, and I get the casuals, but like the casuals that play Madden, Call of Duty, whatever, they're not trying to be playing this Foam Star bullshit. They're not that casual. They're casual, but goddamn, they're not like goddamn, like fuck.
They got standards.
They are not that far out the box. The way I look at casuals on PlayStation, they're just the guys that really, really like to get them to buy a game, it has to be really, really popular. Like, they'll buy Hogwarts. They'll buy Madden. They'll buy Grand Theft Auto. They'll buy God of War and Spider-Man and stuff like that. They'll buy, like, the really big, super popular games, like Horizon and stuff like that, right? But then if you try to get them to play, let's say, like, a good PlayStation, like, for example, Stellar Blade, that's not going to be one of those big sellers. Even though the community is, like, all about Stellar Blade, the casuals, that game's not that big. They're not going to buy that game. They're just not. That's not. You see what I'm saying? So you could present them with a good game, but they're not going to jump on that game. It has to be like a really big, popular showcase game. Mm-hmm. You damn right they're going to go after Spider-Man. Hell yeah, they're going to go after that stuff, right? They'll go after that stuff, Hogwarts Legacy, Elden Ring. They go after the super big blockbuster. I equate these casuals as the people who come to the Super Bowl party, but they never watch any of the regular season football games.
Yeah, facts.
That's the casuals. They only watch, like me. I'm a casual for soccer. I don't really like soccer, but you best believe I'm watching the World Cup once every 4 years. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean I'm gonna watch La Liga Premier Championships in South America. I ain't watching that bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not watching the La Liga Premier. I don't even know who the fuck Manchester United is. I'm not watching that. But I'm casual. When it comes to the super big party up at the beach, I'll watch it. Because the whole world's watching the World Cup. I'm there with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll pick whatever team's left. Let's go Argentina. Yeah, hell yeah. Now that USA got bumped. You know what I'm saying? And I see like the casual people say that actually driving the money, to me, is those guys. The Fortnite guys, the Madden, the 2K, the FIFA, GTA Online, whatever. But when it comes to a lot of these other games, they're not going to buy that. They're not buying for them.
No, you're absolutely right.
Shit, they're not charging that, And that's how I think, That shit's crazy.
No, I agree with you. You
know what I'm saying? So a lot of those games, they're flopping. They're not, they could be successful in their own right. Like, let's say, like those little indies, they generally only need like 100,000, 200,000 sales. So in that own right, they're successful. But they're not going to be like this wave of, very rarely do you have a game like, Hades or Vampire Survivor, where you have a very indie game, but it just blows up. Those are rare too.
I agree.
Let's talk about cloud. Because I'm glad Sony at least realizes this, right? So the chief executive, Kenshiro Yoshida, he spoke on Financial Times, and this was his statement. He says, "I think cloud itself is an amazing business model, but when it comes to games, the technical difficulties are high," Yoshida said. "So there will be challenges to cloud gaming, but we want to take on those challenges. I think cloud itself is an amazing business model." Yeah, he already said that. And then also he said, he mentions this. "The technical difficulties will be familiar to gamers, latency issues that affect responsiveness and create frustrating online experiences. But Yoshida says Sony may use its artificial intelligence agent GT Sophie to boost the performance of cloud gaming. Yoshida also mentioned cost issues associated with running cloud gaming servers that are idle for much of the day before traffic ramps up in the evening or dark time as gamers go online. Sony made the most of these quiet hours during the day by pitting GT Sophie against human players in Gran Turismo. The dark time for cloud gaming had been an issue for Microsoft as well as Google," Yoshida said. "But it was meaningful that we were able to use those quieter hours for AI learning," right? The one thing I like about this is Sony realizes, let's not rush into cloud gaming and completely make it on the same plane as the console, because it's not. I think that's mistake number one. Well, out of the many mistakes Microsoft did was trying to really push this cloud gaming when it wasn't really there on the same level as their console. It's just not. That cloud gaming still needs, Microsoft could still do a push for cloud gaming, but they don't have to advertise it as it's already an alternate option for their console, because it's not. Cloud gaming is pretty much trash. So they could have just invested in technology, maybe advertise it here or there, but at no point should they already advertise, hey, it doesn't matter where you play. Play on the cloud. No, it does matter where you play. And right now, primarily the best place to play these games is some type of hardware, whether it's PC or console. Any other options like TVs and phones, it's just not there yet. It won't be there for years. Who knows? Probably, definitely not for the rest of the gen. At best, it's a next-gen conversation, right? But I like the fact that Sony kind of sees that. What are your guys' thoughts on cloud in terms of gaming? How long is it going to take? Will it ever be on the level as native hardware gaming? We'll start with JayBari.
I think cloud is very convenient. It has its place in the market, but it would never replace, native gaming. And it all depends on, there's a lot of variables that happen, especially here in the U.S. Some people don't have the proper infrastructure, service provider or whatnot, where they can, use these things in a suitable download speed or upload speed and things like that. Yeah, reliable stuff like that. So, yeah, like I like it. I use it. Is it something that is going to take over native gaming for me? No, absolutely not. But I do find I like that it's convenient where I can be at work, and if I'm taking a break, I can continue to do something, or I can edit a video, or whatever it is we use it for. But as far as for a mainstay in gaming, we already seen all the evidence that we need to see. Anybody that has that type of service there or whatever, or business plan where they're focused only on cloud gaming, it's all failing. So, the market is speaking, but I do feel like it has its purpose, but not as a mainstay.
Okay. All right. Extreme, what do you think?
Yo, P-Rob, I'm about to jump off here because I got to go to work super early in the morning.
Yeah,
but
have a good night, mate.
He got a booty call.
Yeah.
Nah. Like, I'm going in the office tomorrow. I gotta be in there.
The office.
Yeah, he got a
Right.
booty call.
The office.
Definitely.
The office. Right. You
Gotta
gotta
put in some work.
You have to
Put in
inspect.
some
You have
work.
to inspect the areas. Got it.
Nah,
Got it, my
no
brother.
booty calls today. Cause
I got
listen,
it, my brother,
yo,
man.
my refrigerator right now. If I took a picture, you're like, damn, bar, you need to get some stuff up in there. So I would bring nobody over.
That's why
Oh,
you're eating
shit.
noodles.
Hey,
You know
nobody.
the
Hey,
vibe.
hey. JayBari's like, hey, you're empty. Bari got a girl over. They'd be like, hey, your fridge is empty. You damn right, because you about to eat this D. That's the only thing you eating.
Hey,
All right,
listen,
bro. Thank you for coming through, my brother. Hey,
Yeah, no
Jay
doubt,
Park.
bro. No doubt.
Hey, every Saturday, 11. What is it? It's 11 a.m. Eastern time. You know what's up, PlayStation Podcast? I'll tell you again, it is literally the best PlayStation podcast on YouTube.
Yo,
If you're a
all I
PlayStation
know,
gamer, I'm telling you, bro, ain't no better podcast than that.
all I know next week, the people that's in this chat right now, y'all better not miss next week because I know that joint about to be a legendary show.
Why? What's happening next week? This Saturday or next Saturday?
No, next Tuesday for this podcast because that's right after the Xbox show too.
Are you gonna come through? You gonna come through?
When is the show? Oh, the show's
yeah,
on Sunday,
I'll
right?
definitely be here.
The show's on
That's on-
Sunday, the
yes.
11th.
No,
Yeah, the
it's-
show's on.
isn't it?
Yeah, the
Oh, it's
show's.
the 11th? Okay.
Yeah, it's on the 11th Sunday. So you know the
shit.
13th is gonna be fire. One way or another,
sir.
something's gonna happen.
But yo, I'll holler at y'all though,
All
man.
right, my brother.
Enjoy y'all.
All right.
Have a good night.
So it's up to it's who's next was on the list? Was Extreme? You already
Extreme
said
was me.
Extreme, yeah. Go ahead, my brother.
Yo, so when it comes to cloud, I think that number one, it will be a big part of the future. Number two, it will never be able to surpass local hardware, but I think it will get so close that people will not care. So again, I just have to look at other instances, like in the music industry. Most people do not care about like how many megs their files are or that is being streamed from Spotify or this or that. They just have this thing. It's convenient, it's instant, and it's good enough for what they need. You know, like I was at a store yesterday listening to $150,000 speakers. Speakers that if I had the money, I would buy. Most people will listen to the speaker on the phone and be like, this is good enough for me. So eventually gaming and cloud are going to hit that intersection where it's just good enough for people. And I think that is probably going to take another 10 years or so if you want a timeline. Not because the technology will be that slow, but because the infrastructure around it, like the ISPs and getting all of that data transferred to you at a price that is affordable without data caps and all of those things. I think those are going to be the holdup. I feel like if ISPs were actually putting great internet, in people's homes at an affordable price and it was competitive in that field, it will probably happen a lot sooner. But the technology will be there. Microsoft is innovating on it. Apple is going to do the same now that they have the mixed reality headset. Sony is going to invest in it. Nintendo will. Everybody will. And then the ISPs are going to drag their feet because they have no real incentive to make it happen. So I think that's at least 10 years away. And I feel like Sony will be a dominant player in the cloud because they have been at it sooner than any other major platform holder in gaming, and they are not blind to what is going on. I think famously, Phil Spencer said that his competition was not Sony, and that it was Amazon and Google. But the thing is, I think Jim Ryan said something very similar, saying that nowadays they are not really competing against other platform holders per se, but they're competing for people's time. They're competing against Netflix and all of those other things. So they do have that technology in their mind, and I think they will leverage it in order to be more competitive against a Netflix. Because 10, 20 years from now, if you tell someone, hey, in order to play this game the first time, at least, you have to wait like an hour for a download, at the minimum, or 2 or 3 hours, or 3 days, depending on how bad your internet is, just to see if you like the game, they're going to look at you strange. They're going to expect things to work like a movie does, which is basically you hit play and you at least watch a trailer then and there. And so for the game equivalent, it will be like, I see a title, I hit play the demo, and instantly I am playing it, because of streaming. So those are my thoughts.
All right. So I'll let Call Me Jay go and see what he says, and then I want to bring up something to consider. Go ahead, Jay.
Okay. So I agree with some of the points that JayBari and Extreme said about how it's going to take a long time for not really what I agree with is the whole infrastructure. Like the US is in specifically, they're so fucked right now, and like ISPs are not incentivized to innovate or improve anything. So it'll be up to the companies to basically drag their feet, like Extreme said, for them to do any changes. But as far as the technology, right now, the only one that's doing it almost perfectly is NVIDIA with their GeForce Now. If you've never tried GeForce Now and you want to try it out, like you being in the US, you're going to have a much better experience because I live in PR. There's no data center in PR, so the closest one is Florida, which at a minimum is 60 milliseconds. But even with 60 milliseconds, I could play Division 2 just fine and a racing game just fine over my freaking hotspot on my phone. So GeForce Now is already really, really good. I play with people that only play through that because they're like, why would I? They rather pay the subscription and just have a nice monitor than have to buy a really expensive PC to play games and such, which I think is cool. But obviously the other players like Xbox, PlayStation, and whatnot, they're still working on it. So it is going to take a long time for everybody to be comfortable at it. And I also agree with what Extreme said, because this is what NVIDIA is doing as well. NVIDIA didn't make GeForce Now to take PC players off of their hardware. They made it as a side thing, So when you're out of home, GeForce Now, you link your Steam and your Uplay and Origin and all those other launchers. You link it to that, and then you can play the games that you purchased on those accounts. So as a PC player, you already have your library. All you have to do is give them $10 a month, and you can play those games anywhere you want. Xbox, I don't like the way the Xbox is doing it because they're shoving it through Game Pass, and I hope that what PlayStation does is they just copy what GeForce is doing and make it so, hey, you can buy the game and then you can play it through our cloud service anytime you want, rather than you pay a subscription and you get a bunch of games like Game Pass does.
Okay. Oh, interesting. So you kind of hit something I was concerned about, but you said that it's pretty good with GeForce Now. Because the one thing I was concerned about, and this ties into what Extreme was saying, him using music and movies with games, right? And I think the stark difference between the two is one form of entertainment is passive, right? So all it is just pushing information to you, and you sit there just receive it, right? And as long as you just receive it, you're good. So like if you sit here and you're listening to music and you're listening to your phone or through your beats, it's good enough because you're receiving it and you're listening to the music. As long as you hear the words to a certain level, got it. If you're watching a movie, whether you're watching your movie on a tiny phone or you're watching a big screen, you know, but the movie's there, you're seeing it, you got it. But with gaming, it's the response back. So, for example, you're streaming a game. Let's say you're playing Madden or you're playing whatever. And then you press a button, but the game don't really respond because of its streaming. And now you lose the game because you missed a shot. How frustrating would that be for the gamer? Or you're playing Streetfighter.
Right.
And you can't pull off a move because of that little latency and connection. And now you lose the match. At what point do you get tired of it? And you say, this is not fun. Like, this is not fun. Like, and it could be just slight. You miss a shot here. You know, you miss a corner there. Things that you rarely experience on hardware, you were experiencing a lot, you know. So at what point does something get acceptable? You be like, yeah, I missed a shot, I lost the game. Yeah, but that's acceptable because it's convenient. You know, you don't go through that with movies and movies. Like this. Imagine if you listen. I would say the only equivalent to that is if you listen to music and then the music stops for like 2 minutes and then it plays again, and it keeps doing that over and over. You're not gonna enjoy that. Like, the music keeps stopping. Like, this is not fun. This is not good. The convenience of where I cannot enjoy the music completely is not a fun experience, right? And I think that's where the streaming thing of, can it replace console gaming? Well, you're gonna what's gonna be your tolerance? Are you okay with losing or failing missions that you normally wouldn't fail? But because of streaming, you have these extra things. And it's not just the back service, right? Because you did mention, like, you know, the back end service, right? But you got to think of the entire chain of connection. I'm not trying to slow your attention. You guys probably know this better than me. It's not just that. You got the servers. The location is one, right? Who is your internet provider? Like, for example, right now, Extreme, if you were 100% on just streaming, would you be able to enjoy your games right now with whatever they're doing to your internet?
Yo, Pirak, I want you to actually answer the question holistically.
Yeah.
Obviously, the answer is no. Yeah. But I want you to actually touch into what you said there about, like, temporary dropouts. Yeah. I want you to know that in music streaming, a nanosecond dropout is disruptive. Mm-hmm. I was at a store and they were doing construction. Yeah. And so we have these really expensive speakers, right? And we have, like, super fancy state-of-the-art technology. Mm-hmm. And then there were momentary dropouts for less than a second. And the person that attended next to me apologized because that is extremely disruptive. That's not the experience that you want to have. So with music, it doesn't need to stop for like 2 minutes. Yeah. It just needs to stop for like 2 nanoseconds.
I use that as an example.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, yeah.
But what I'm saying,
because you know when the music's interrupted and it was just especially if you're singing, you're like la da.
Yeah, exactly. It's terrible. It's terrible. Especially on super expensive stuff, right?
Yeah.
But what I will say is this. There are going to be gates when it comes to latency and tolerance levels. And again, I don't think that streaming is ever going to surpass local hardware. That's why there are people today that pay thousands of dollars to get like the flattest, most linear CD player, you know, because they don't want any potential issues. That's a thing that people do, and they are hardwired in every single way, and they will never consider streaming because they have specific needs that they want to address. So just like that, I would never see myself primarily playing on cloud as my primary way of, you know, entertainment, unless something else has happened and I'm not at home or whatever it is. But again, there's going to be tolerance levels depending on the types of experiences, because you chose a competitive online match, right? Mm-hmm. In which case, that will be the lowest tolerance level that anyone will have, because over there you want the lowest latency physically or, you know, ungodly possible. But then if you're playing a single player game, and there's going to be levels of single player games, like a turn-by-turn game, that is going to be probably the highest tolerance level that people have. Because in a turn-by-turn, you don't really miss out on too much if there is a huge delay, right? Mm-hmm. Then you're going to have games like God of War, which is, yes, it's story-based, and yes, you can have some latency, but if you're in a boss fight, and you are playing on the hardest difficulty, which is the only one you should play God of War on, you know, you're not going to want to die because you didn't, you know, there was a thing. So that is a lower level of tolerance than a turn-by-turn game. And then there's going to be, you know, just different levels of gaming experiences that eventually people are going to say, okay, my particular setup at home or my particular cloud setup is good enough for this type of experience and none of these. And people will filter what kind of games they play on the cloud, depending on their individual setup and their individual tolerance to these things. For example, I can't tolerate bad sound. I don't care if it's a super expensive speaker. I don't care if it's like a basic like $10 Chinese shop made thing. If I think it sounds bad, I can't stand it. I have an extremely low tolerance level for what I think is bad sound. Most people would listen to the exact same sound that I'm listening to and be like, that's acceptable to me. So it's also going to be extremely individual. And then the other thing that I want to address that you mentioned is that, we are going to have the active versus passive thing. And again, I just think it will come down to the person. Yes, it is active. Yes, your tolerance level is going to be different from like having a video buffer in the background, because even for like a YouTube video, most of the time I download them to my phone because I know that my internet setup when I'm on the go is kind of unreliable, so I will download it ahead of time and I will go ahead and make sure that can happen. But there are going to be some people in different situations that have amazing internet and they will never consider downloading something to their phone. For me right now, when I see phones, I have to buy like the highest capacity version because I know that I'm going to be downloading lots of stuff. There are some people that will never fill up anything near the, base level storage because they can just do everything on the cloud. I know people that take photos and none of the photos actually stay on their phone. They literally just set them off to the cloud, then they always have access to them. And that's it. So again, I just think that cloud technology will be a big part of the future. No, it will not replace local hardware. Yes, it will take a lot of time. And yes, you will have to filter and choose what sort of gaming you allow yourself to do, because you will have a different tolerance level playing Tekken, which is going to be like, I think fighters are going to be the lowest of the low because you actually literally count frames. So I don't think, listen, in my lifetime, I don't expect that Tekken will ever be played through the cloud. People don't like when we play it on Wi-Fi at home. Like I have to stay quiet during those conversations because I use Wi-Fi. Thankfully, hey, I don't play fighter games, so don't come for me, all right? I know not to do that, but I'm just saying, some people are mad that others use Wi-Fi. So imagine if you find out someone use cloud, like you kill them.
Yeah.
So I like that you mentioned latency, and we talked about a lot about latency. And one thing that GeForce is doing that nobody else is doing, I think Microsoft is trying to, but it's hard because they're working with a console as a data center, is there's many ways to measure latency. There's a CPU, there's a GPU, there's a composition, there's the frame to frame, there's your controller. Believe it or not, your PlayStation 5 controller has some latency from it to the console. Mm-hmm. It's in milliseconds, but that's what it's measured by, right? Mm-hmm. And NVIDIA has a bunch of things like reflex and all this other stuff where they bypass a lot of things on their systems to bring down the latency that would normally be there. I think Digital Foundry did a video talking about reflex, and he compared games on PS5 versus games on PC using reflex, and you can see that the PS5 had a pretty high latency. I mean, it's not high to where you're annoyed, right? But it's the average latency that a console would have versus reflex has a very low latency. So they're using certain tricks to compensate for whatever latency you will have through the cloud. And that's one of the things that I like about GeForce Now, and that's why it feels so, instant in some aspects. To me, not necessarily to me, because I like I said, I live in PR. I don't have a data center here, so my latency is already high to begin with. But yeah.
So this is why I wanted to touch on something, right? Because it's more than just what the service provider could bring to the table, right? Because if we're looking at it where cloud gaming is going to catch on, you could probably argue it's probably going to be the casual market, right? More often than not, right? They're the ones that's going to have the highest tolerance of games and whatever, right? But if you look at that market, right, the casual market, the way it is right now, if they buy console, is really the console, they connect it to the TV, and then they got internet for the online games, but it's not streaming the full game. It's just really connecting to the service, right? But for the most part, that's where, that's as much work as you're going to put into it to get a decent gaming experience. You just got to get the console, connect to the TV, and boom, you're playing, right? But now with cloud gaming, you're like, you know what? I'm going to settle for cloud gaming. I'm going to replace it, right? And sure, NVIDIA could do all this stuff, but they can only do so much. The rest of the stuff is on you. So, number one, who's your service provider? If you got a shitty service provider, there's nothing NVIDIA can do about that.
Data caps.
You got
How
data
far
caps.
is the data center from you?
They can, yeah.
Do you live in a rural area?
You know, they can't do it. And not only that, did you buy at least a decent enough router, or did you decide to get a $50 router? Because it's good enough for Netflix, it's good enough for Facebook, YouTube. But this router, brother man, you better get on that Wi-Fi 6 and connect that shit, because what you got right now,
not even that will help it.
And you're on two. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So now this casual has to be very smart on the type of environment they have, who their provider is, what gig service they got.
Yeah.
How far they are from the data center? What type of router did you get? Did you configure a router to maximize
correctly?
Streaming? That's a lot of shit. Or you know what? I'm just gonna buy a console and plug the HDMI cable. Yeah, and I'm good.
I'm glad you mentioned the router, because even it doesn't matter the Wi-Fi protocol. If there's a bunch of people around you using that same protocol, doesn't matter the channel that you pick on your router, whatever, it's still gonna give you issues, because there's so many people around you that the router is set to automatic. So it's swapping between the Wi-Fi channels constantly. So you're never going to get a really steady Wi-Fi connection. You got to be connected through Ethernet. Otherwise, if you live in like an apartment complex or something, you're going to get a lot of interference just for other people.
Oh, you say cable. Places. Extreme don't like cable.
No. Hey, I love cables. I love cables. I just don't want to see them.
I don't want to see no cable.
I want to see them.
I better not see no goddamn cables. I see a cable. Put that shit away.
Yeah. I saw a cable when he posted that picture.
Call me Jay. Hey. You're mistaken about that. Have you ever heard about Wabi Sabi? It's a Japanese concept. It's a Japanese concept that things cannot be perfect. So that one cable you saw was me being imperfect. It's part of my ethos. Okay. Yeah, it's part of my religion.
Wait, did you just confirm you're not human and you're trying to do human things so that people think you're human?
Yes.
Okay.
Take that as you will. So, listen, P-Walk, what you were saying before about how a cable is... How people are going to find it difficult, a casual might find it difficult to think about all of this up and down the whole network operation. Yeah. It's going to be sold to them. At some point, the ISPs are going to give you gaming packages. And I'm going to tell you, hey, you know what? If you're a gamer... just give us this extra $150. We'll do the install for you. We'll make sure that everything's good. They already do this for audio, man. Like, you can get an audio person to come in your home and, like, wire up the speakers with, like, super expensive cables if you choose them to. So it will be a convenience that is also sold by many different vendors. There'll be people that doing as part of the ISP company. There'll be people after the fact that will be like, I'm a technician. I'll come and make sure that, I optimize things for you. There'll be specialist gamer cloud companies that will have their own things. Yeah, exactly. So listen, casuals will be fine.
And they're charging you $30, $40 a month, and you end up paying more for cloud gaming.
Listen,
then you could have just bought the console.
They will charge you hundreds of dollars. They will charge you hundreds of dollars. If the audio world is an indication, they will charge you thousands to make sure that you have.
They'll tell you, man, I'm going cloud because I don't have to buy consoles. It's cheaper, and you end up paying $100 a month. You're like, what?
No. You know what would be funny? You know what would be funny? When those people, they get like a person will get like a $5,000 install for like all of the Wi-Fi to be super optimized for Call of Duty, and then they realize that they could have run a $30 cable from Ethernet to Ethernet.
to get even better.
And got a better result.
Yeah, like that shit. Like, yo, you can't even make this shit up.
The guy setting up the router is probably just turning on a few buttons that were already in the software of the router. They're just click. There you go. It's done. That quick. Yeah. I'm that good.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
It's just like, you guys are awesome. All
right. So let's move on to the last topic. I want to talk about this. It's a little bit off topic, but I think this is pretty significant.
It is.
The Apple Vision Pro.
Yo.
Yep.
They don't even have 4K right here, right? So this thing is 3,500. So I put this so everybody. Hold on. Let me put the.
When you put on Apple Vision Pro.
Let me see. Can everybody hear it?
Let me make sure I'm on the stream.
Oh shit! No. Oh, is it? Oh yo, so okay. Ooh. Hey, are they gonna shut this shit down? Let's see. Sega has streamed down today. Don't play it. Oh shit. Don't do it. Oh shit. Oh shit. That's it then. So you know what? What I'll do is I'll just turn off the sound, right? Because they don't do a visual check, right? Oh man, this is some bullshit. Really, Apple? Fucking $3,500, bro. These dudes are hurting. All right, let me shut this shit down. Damn, I'm gonna have to mute that shit then. I'm gonna have to mute that part. That's crazy. Well, there's words and maybe, I guess, I don't know. So fuck it. Let me get a good clear image. Let's see. You know, I like this image. This is perfect. This image right. Oh no, it's a fucking video. Excuse my language. Let me see. I'm interested in the future of this headset. In the future, the potential. But that's about it. Like, yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna buy it. But you're not gonna buy it anyway. Come on, $3,500. Like you guys on Game Pass. Like, shut up. Like, y'all, like, yo, like, get out of here. Yeah. 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 Let me see. Oh man, these is scary. Yeah, let me get another better image. Man, this thing is like, yo, this is ridiculous. I'm just trying to get a nice clean image here. Like Apple really doing the most right now. Can we? Yeah, I'll just do this. Let me see. Can we get this image? Game Pass. All right. Let me see. What? Let me do this. Let me do this. I'll just do that. There you go. I'll just do that. There you go. We'll just do that. Here we go. We'll just do that. All right, guys. Here we go. Boom. All right. So, yeah. So, here's the thing. So, I like Extreme's thing. Like, what market does this really hit, right? Especially at $3,500 to introduce a $3,500 product. You're talking a very niche market. Because even the average Apple fan, who's big on Apple, this is probably out of their price reach, right? They're willing to do the $1,000 phone because they usually find a way to cut it. But this, whatever. From the videos I seen, right? I seen videos. Yeah, well, the reaction, yeah, that's just crazy, right? But I seen videos like, you know, like the demonstration, like the dramatization of a guy or someone. They put, you know, they have their headset on there on their couch and they're watching TV, and it looks like, according to the whatever doing, like a clear, nice 4K image, and they raise it up. It looks like an 80-inch TV. But what really caught my eye was when the same person, or, you know, a different person did the same thing, but they're on a plane. And not only did they watch TV, they did something to where now they no longer see the cabin of the plane. So they're watching TV in a totally different environment. So they pretty much remove themselves. So like something like that, I was like, you know what? That's actually not a bad. I'm still not going to buy it, but I can see something like that being very, like, you completely removed yourself from the environment and you could just focus on the TV, whatever. Whether you're on a plane or on a train, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? And stuff like that. I also seen other stuff like, you know, accessing apps. I'm kind of iffy because it's like, I mean, yeah, it's like iPad OS, like in the visual stuff like that. But what do you guys think? We'll start with Call Me Jay. What do you think about that? About this? Yeah. But wouldn't this? But isn't that? But is that a niche market at this point? What happened? What? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on.
Pio, what'd you do?
Go
What'd
ahead.
you do?
No,
They got you.
because I had a mute when I was doing the demonstration.
Are we good, chat?
Yeah, go ahead. You're good now.
So he has to say everything he just
Yeah,
said.
you're gonna have to say everything again.
Shit. Okay, I'm just waiting for the chat to be like, yes, we can hear you now.
No, they could hear you. I had you muted. I had you muted because I was gonna show the video.
Okay,
but I didn't unmute
I'll
it.
try to make it quick. So the headset itself, the market that it's targeting for is not consumers. Consumers are not going to buy this shit, right? It's for enterprise, for very like fanboys of Apple, for influencers, and for like popular people like NBA players and artists and all this other shit. Those are going to be the people that will put it on their Instagrams and all this other shit. You're going to see fucking Kanye walking around LA with this shit on, and people are going to be like, what the fuck is that? And that's going to get more eyes into VR. So the headset itself, like the implications of the headset is like Apple is doing something for the AR and the VR community, also for themselves, obviously, but it's going to get people to see VR more and see AR more and be like, yo, what is this shit? Like I see how this guy, Tim Cook or whatever his name is, I see how he presented it in this trailer, and I kind of get the idea. Is there anything else like this? Because I'm not paying $3,500 for this headset, and they're going to see other companies like Meta and Pico, which are doing very similar things, but for a way, way cheaper price, right? Moving on to like what I think of the headset is a very advanced headset. The panels on the VR headset are micro OLED, they said, so they're very, very tiny, like pixels. So there's not really going to be a lot of screen door effect. It says it's near 4K resolution, so it's going to look very, very, very good. It's probably not going to be anything groundbreaking because the PlayStation VR is near 4K as well, even though it's not pancake lenses, it's the old Fresnel lenses, and the Meta Quest does the same thing as well, similar. So it's not going to have controllers. It's all going to be on your hands, with your eyes, and with your voice, which was kind of a bummer, but I'm not going to buy it anyway, so I don't really care. And it's basically their 1.0. This is basically their iPhone 1. There's the software isn't really there. The software that you saw is basically iPad OS, like I said, with a few nooks and crannies that are for VR centric stuff, like what you mentioned, Puerto Rock, where you're on a plane and then it's as if you're somewhere else, right? That's not really something new, but I could see why you would think that, because that's how they showed it. They have a little knob that sort of puts you in the fucking thing, or you can have a very big screen and such. So overall, I think it's good. It's cool. It looks really nice. I heard it's kind of heavy, so that's gonna be weird because it has a lot of tech. It has metal in it. It's like it has metal materials. I don't know why they fucking did that. But yeah, this is good because more people will more developers are gonna want to develop for VR now because of this. And then more casuals, more people around the world are going to see this and want to pick something else that's cheaper. And that's where other companies come in that have gaming and have watching movies and shit.
You say you keep turning to AR, but right now I'm at the website and nothing here screams VR. This screams augmented reality. Like I'm looking at like every example they showed. I'm just talking about what they're advertising.
Yeah.
This looks more like AR, not VR.
No, it's both. It's both.
No, so I know what you're saying. I'm talking about if you look at this is AR. There's nothing that's I really don't see anything tying to like VR gaming. Like if you look at this,
no, but VR isn't gaming necessarily.
I understand, but you see what I'm saying? This is like because you're saying like if people look at marketing, this, then they could be like, you know what? Let me look into MetaQuest or PlayStation VR. I don't see the tie-in between the two.
Well, the PSVR isn't really doing AR, right? They're not really going for that right now, or probably never until they get the new headset. But Meta is. There's a ton of AR stuff that Meta is doing right now, and with the Quest 3, it's only going to get better, and the Quest Pro and so on. Right. So
it does stuff like this.
Yes, they're gonna. Yeah, I can do it right now with my Quest 2. I can see my room, and then I can have a bunch of virtual monitors and do shit and whatever, right?
Like you can watch TV and all that shit.
I could, yes. Okay. I just rather sit down because I.
Did you drop out, or did I drop out?
I don't know. Maybe you did. So, watching movies on a big ass screen, I've been doing that since 2018. Like, it's amazing, right? It's nothing new. And like I said, Meta.
Hello?
I don't know if Pico is, but Meta is. Is he
Oh,
good?
crap.
Can you
No,
hear
this
us,
is
Extreme?
You all right? You all right, brother? You can hear
I
us?
think he's getting off. The wife is watching Netflix at 4K 60.
Oh shit. Hey, yo, Extreme, you can hear us?
HDR.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
You probably just hop out, hop back in. There you go. All right.
Yeah. Can you hear us now?
Yeah. Let me hit the super chat. Hey, want to say shout
go
out to
ahead.
Severin Evans. Thank you for being a member. Welcome to the family, my brother. And Tommy Bull, $3.49. Only Apple slaves and wealthy people care.
There you
So
go.
can I address that? Can I
Yeah,
address that? Can
go
I
ahead.
jump in here?
Go ahead.
Listen, first of all, people, a company is allowed to charge whatever they want that they think that their product is worth. Okay, you have to be okay with that, and you as a person are allowed to decide whether that product is indeed worth it or not. But I don't like comments like that, like, oh, only slaves will be able to do this or only wealthy people. Listen, everybody has expensive tastes. Everybody has things that they value that they will go and get whatever they think is the best version for that, even if it costs them a hefty premium. You know, like, again, just in the world of music, because that's where I really look at music, cycling things. I have really expensive things, you know, things that you could get far cheaper with other alternatives, but I don't want that. So while this headset isn't for me, I will go to bat and defend that it is not overpriced. You're just not the target audience, and that's okay. It's perfectly fine. I'm not saying that you're poor, by the way. I'm just saying that you don't value this to that amount.
There's
So
two
just
reasons
let
why.
other people. Pardon?
Yeah. No, go finish your point.
No, I'm just gonna say, like, let people who do value it to $3,500, let them have it and let them enjoy it, okay? Because we are all allowed to enjoy and value different things. So that's the first thing there. The second thing is that this is not an off-topic conversation, actually, because P-Rock, if you look at some of the marketing material, you're going to see that they use a PlayStation controller. You know, so for me, where I tie it back into gaming is I imagine that the next version of this could be actually tied with or in partnership with Sony, so that it could act as a secondary compatible headset with either the PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation 6. I think it would be really cool if there was that kind of like gaming time, because it has all of the hardware necessary. And since the PlayStation 5 communicates with the PlayStation itself, right, and this will just act as a wireless headset, I think it would be cool for them to actually do that kind of integration, and it will give Apple more of a way to address the gaming market. To be like, hey, guess what? If you have a PlayStation, you can buy Sony's own headset that will be wired, you know, and that will have a cord going in back and forth, and it will have its own advantages. Or you could buy this one and it will be wireless, and it will be another way to experience PlayStation games because they already have the DualSense support for this one. So that could be cool. I would love to see that. Then another thing that I wanted to address is that I do actually think that this is for consumers. It just happens to be consumers that are financially well off and also have that interest in it. But I don't think that Apple is positioning this as much for enterprise the way that the HoloLens was positioned, because the HoloLens was almost entirely not consumer facing, whereas this, like you said, you use it in the airplane.
I don't think you could buy the HoloLens.
Pardon?
If you were, I don't think you could buy the HoloLens if you were a consumer.
Oh,
So,
yeah, okay. Well,
yeah.
that just proves my point, right? That the HoloLens was almost entirely enterprise
You
and
had to have,
military
like, a
contracts
developer
and
account or some
governments and
shit.
things like that.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be the biggest difference between these two products. But I actually do think that this will be consumer facing. Of course, it is version 1, and you know, you've heard my thing before. It is the second version that will fix the hardware. The first version is kind of getting the hardware out. The second version will get the software out, and the third version will get the mindshare out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the way I'm still thinking about this one. For me, the biggest issue with this product is I am not sure if it is going to be a Segway situation. Because if you remember the Segway, it was at the time revolutionary, and it was supposed to address a problem of sorts, which was like the last mile thing, because it's like, okay, let's say you take public transport, but your closest bus is like 2 miles away from you. How are you going to get there? Because you don't necessarily want to walk 2 miles every single time. It could be raining, it could be too hot. And the Segway was like, well, you could use the Segway. And it was technologically impressive. I think it came at a price that was reasonable for like a first version. And it worked. Like it actually really worked really, really well. But people didn't take to it for numerous reasons. So I'm not sure if this is going to go the way of the iPod or if it's going to go the way of the Segway, which is basically like, yeah, technologically wise, it's impressive. And yes, there are like a bunch of experiences that you could have, but ultimately people reject it. So that's my only concern with it.
It's not really going to be, from my perspective, it's not really going to be something that you think of, oh, I'm going to take this out when I'm in the train or when I'm at work or some shit, or like on my way to work is what I'm saying. It is a headset that can be used at work because it'll enhance your, whatever you're doing if you work at IT and shit like that. But it's basically like any other VR headset where it's like you don't really take it out. You could if you want to, but it's more for specific things like being at home or being on a plane or being at work, that type of stuff.
There's this comment in the chat from Ben that says that nothing priced at $3,500 is aimed at consumers. Mate, have you ever seen the luxury watch market? Who do you think they sell to? Have you seen the luxury speakers? Yeah. Who do you think they sell to? Do you think they want to sell it to their buddies, to their friends? Like they want to sell it to their cousins and nephews? It is targeted at customers and consumers. It's just that you may not happen to be in that target demographic for this particular product. But we have expensive products, guys. I have seen, and I haven't ridden one, but I have held in my hand a $16,000 bicycle. It's a bicycle. It's $16,000. And it was a consumer that bought it. It wasn't a pro. It wasn't a company. It wasn't an athlete. It was just a regular Joe, and he wanted a $16,000 bicycle, so he got a $16,000 bicycle. That's it. It is consumer focused. It is consumer facing anyway. And yes, there's obviously like levels to this. A product that comes at $350 will be accessible to a larger pool of people than a product comes in at $3,500. That's fine. But for you to say that, oh, just because of the price tag, it is not consumer facing, that's just factually wrong.
It's just rich consumers, basically. That's what it's catering to, rich consumers.
But I don't think you have to be rich. I think you just have to value it. Because you could save up for it. Like, call me Jay.
For sure.
Like, you could save up. Like, you could spend a year or two and you could buy it. So it's not about how much wealth you have. It's about, do you value this thing? Because there are certain expensive things that I don't value. So even if I had the money for it, I wouldn't get, like this particular device, for example. I don't value it, Even if I could afford it, I would not go out and buy it. But there are devices that are just as expensive as this one that I will save up for and that I will go out and buy. And that doesn't require me to be 10 times wealthier than I am now.
Right. There's something I want to say because he said something about you think it will reach mainstream at 3,500.
No,
you're seeing it as if this is the only device out there that does this type of stuff. Like it's not. Think of it. I'll put it in a simpler term. Think of it as like Android, for example, or even PC and console. Like you see Nvidia show you the most insane shit, but it costs $4,000 to buy some whatever spec PC, right? The highest end and NASA PC shit. You're gonna look at it and you're like, that looks great, but what else is there like that? There's a console. Okay, I'm gonna go buy that. You see Samsung and whatever other companies do high-end phones, and you're gonna be like, that looks amazing, but I'm not paying that much. How much is there anything else on this realm? And there's a ton of other companies making the same thing, but for cheaper. It might not be as high-end, but it's the same thing. So it's not about like Apple understands that this is not going to be for everybody because first of all, it has a ton of high-end specs on it. I think it has the M2, which is a ridiculously powerful chip from Apple, and on top of that, it has the Apple tax. So this is for a specific group of people, but there's a lot more of these devices out there that are close to being just as good as this and has certain advantages, and they're way cheaper. So it's about getting people to see VR because we can all agree here that VR is still growing. It's still not that big to where, people are knowing about it, but it's still pretty new to a lot of people around the world. This is only helping bringing eyes into that ecosystem or into that consumer space so that more people can get into this shit. So it's not about this headset alone. There's a lot more there's levels to this, There's
and this is called the Apple Vision Pro. So logic dictates that at some point there will be an Apple Vision for that will be like at $1,500,
You know, that's
and that will be
true.
more accessible.
That is a good point. This is the Pro.
I'm not saying VR is niche. VR is not niche. It's pretty like the Meta has over 20 mil headsets sold. Like I know it's not niche, but there's a lot of people that are still needing to be convinced. Mark Zuckerberg said he's not gonna rest till they got like 100 mil users, right? And that's gonna take a long fucking time. So it's niche to them because they're still working towards getting a lot of people into this shit. You know, so.
And you know, it's like the smartphone. It wasn't until Apple actually made the iPhone that it really kicked off, and then everybody saw what Apple did, like the Samsung, right? They showed a video. I remember there was like a thing of, you know, Samsung eventually outclassed Apple, at least in terms of hardware and design. But in the beginning, Samsung wasn't really making that good looking phones. Once Apple innovated and said, hey, this is the iPhone, then everybody started replicating it. Some are better than what others, but really, Apple's the one that ushered in the smartphone. Even though there's been smartphones in the past, remember, we had the Palm Pilot. There were technically smartphones prior to the iPhone. It's been around for a while. I think the first iPhone, I think the smartphone was actually created in the 80s. But the way Apple engineered it and its functionality with the software, that's when it took off. And then everybody just mimicked it and replicated
And advertised it as well.
And advertised it, yo.
Hey, Rock, I have a question for the panel. Would you buy the Apple Vision, not this one? Like, let's say the Apple Vision comes in at $1,500, but it is fully compatible with your PlayStation 5. It's wireless because that's part of how this device works, right? It will recognize the DualSense. The only thing is that you will be limited to using the DualSense. You won't be able to use your hands for controller inputs. But if you wanted to play, let's say God of War at 170 inches in front of you in that virtual environment, you can do it, and you will be playing your PlayStation that way. It will be like the Q Lite, but better.
Wait, but
also it will be able to do everything that this one already does. So we'll have the Apple ecosystem in interface, and you'll be able to look at your Mac and it will project it on the screen. Everything that this one does, it does as well. Maybe it's like 2K screens instead of 4K, and it doesn't have the screen at the front to show your eyes. Like they'll find ways to cut corners. But point is, functionally, it gives you what this one does, and on top of that, it gives you now PlayStation 5 VR compatibility, so you can play Gran Turismo in it, you know, and everything. Would you buy that device?
But the PSVR already has a theater mode. It has a big ass screen mode.
Yeah, I know that, but this one will be the more premium experience. So basically, instead of Sony making a better VR right now, they'll be like, you have two options. You have PlayStation VR 2, which is our entry level, or we've partnered with Apple, and you can buy this thing and also use it on PlayStation 5.
What would you do, P-Rock?
I wouldn't buy it. Not buy a $1,500 like $15 headset just for the PlayStation, and then maybe like the PlayStation 6, and if I didn't buy a TV yet. You know what I mean? Because then that would be
you can still use it when you're traveling.
That would be my
and
TV.
Everything else.
I mean,
everything else that was exciting you before.
It depends. You know, I ultimately have to see. Like, for example, I didn't buy my iPhone until the 3GS came out, and that's when the software started really flowing. You know, and I bought it in Japan too, so Japan was already ahead in software because that's where I was living at. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying I'm not interested in this at all. I'm just not interested in it right now. I need to see Vision 3 and beyond.
I think
because there are some things that I think is cool. I think there's some things that are interesting. It's just I don't value it now, but I am keeping my eye on it to see how much more it can go. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, it's like I said, like it's helping get people more eyes into VR, and it's also setting certain trends so that more companies that get into making headsets can follow through, like eye tracking and shit like that. Like I know Meta's already doing eye tracking and face tracking, but like, you know, having Apple as well side by side doing the same thing, it's just going to set a standard basically. Yeah. You know, for a couple years, VR had all sorts of fucking weird shit controllers. Like, look at the PSVR had the Move controllers. The Vive had like some wands, some weird shit. And then Meta came in and made a really good and still really good controller, and that became the standard. Now the PlayStation has a similar style to what the Meta did, and any other VR headset that comes out also has a similar style to that. So,
yeah, so
I think that
Alfonso Carter said that, but that's not going to happen because it would be Did you get cut off? Because PlayStation to cut off is so far from VR. Also, he thinks that what you're recommending would be in conflict with the hardware Sony's trying to push for its own console. So, like, why would you buy a PSVR if you could get the iPhone Vision?
I think
because it's way cheaper.
What's going to happen is what I think is going to happen. The scenario that Extreme put out, I don't think it's realistic because Apple is pretty like close.
And they're very.
Yeah. The very least that I could see happening, and it's like a very, very small percentage that could happen, is if they do a collaboration and you can use the DualSense controllers or whatever,
they'll allow that
on their headset. I can see that happening.
But they've already showed that. If you look at the video,
that's what I'm saying. They'll allow other stuff.
I don't mean the PS5 controller. I mean the PSVR 2 controllers. I don't know what they're called.
Oh, okay.
I mean those controllers.
because
they track with IR lights, so Apple can work with Sony and be like, "Yo, we'll put the shit here and then just use the controllers." But
why would they do that? What would be the point if you can only control with your hands?
No, because eventually this headset will have controllers, right? You're not going to do everything with your hands. You can't really play games because you can't really play games with your hands.
But they're not. It's not gaming focused.
It will have games. They already showed games. The developer for Rec Room, which is a VR game, is already on there, and he already teased that they're going to do something with this headset.
But isn't that games that are compatible with the DualSense, which they've already showed?
No, because Rec Room is a VR game. The DualSense is the normal controller.
Oh, okay, right? All right. I understand.
Yeah.
So you're saying that they'll make the Sense controllers compatible.
Yes, but I think the Sense, the Apple will have their own controllers probably, and I can see them easily being like, "Yo, we're going to support DualSense as well," or whatever the fuck it's called. We're going to support that as well if you want to buy that too. You know.
But then the thing is, what will Sony get out of it? That's why I'm saying that it has to be a partnership, right? Like Sony gets out of it, like to who? They don't care about saying controllers. They want you to buy the software.
No, people who can't afford this headset, right? They're not gonna buy it. They're just gonna buy PSVR or the Quest, whatever, right? So they already got those people in their ecosystem. The people that don't want a PlayStation but they have Apple shit, they're gonna get controller money from them because they sell the controller separately. No,
I mean,
they're still gonna get money from them. It's not gonna be
the way that I imagine it. The way that I imagine it is exactly what you say, except Sony goes to them like, hey, listen, you have a premium headset. We can't be bothered making one because honestly, Sony couldn't justify a $3,500 headset. Not enough people will buy it, right? So it's like, we'll give you the unlock to our controllers because that will be, you don't have to develop that. And then you will give us access to the wireless protocol so that we can stream to your headset. It doesn't take anything away from Apple. Like, they literally don't lose anything.
Yep, they still have the ecosystem on the headset and so on, and then PlayStation.
Exactly, right? So it's a mutually benefit thing.
I get what you mean. I disagree with the PlayStation not being able to do a high-end headset because the PSVR.
No, they won't be able to justify it. I think they can do it, but how many people will buy it?
I know what you're saying, but the PSVR 2 is already a high-end headset.
I get that, but this is a different. Like this is a different.
Okay, so you mean like
field.
going some crazy right? So
exactly.
Spending R&D money, they're just gonna go to Apple and be like, "Yo, let's work together."
Yeah, you make the premium version of our PlayStation VR, and we will make the basic version that appeals to people that want to pay, let's say, $700 or less, and then you guys will have an option at $1,500 or more. And then there's that clear difference. It's like, well, listen, on the PlayStation VR platform, you will be tied to the console. You will have a wire running. You have all of these things, and it will be, just a package that only focuses on PlayStation. Like it won't have any Apple. You look at my, computer. So it won't do any of that. It will be purely for gaming, and it will be just that experience. Or if you want a better gaming experience on top of the Apple ecosystem, on top of everything that Apple Vision can do, you can also buy the Apple Vision. We will make them talk to each other with your PlayStation. It will be wireless this time. And now it's like everybody wins, right?
I'll be surprised if they do that because, like I said, Apple is very close to the chest. They don't really like to fucking... do it.
But so is Sony, and they've already collaborated on this DualSense thing. Because as soon as I saw the DualSense, I was like, "Yo,
no!" But
this
that's
could be
different.
exciting.
That's completely different. Here's why: it's not technically a collaboration because you can use a DualSense already with your iPhone. and your iPad.
That's true.
This is essentially just like the iOS or Apple X, whatever the fuck their software is called. And it's just connected through Bluetooth, so you can use any controller you really want as long as it's MiFi compatible. So
You're right about
it's
that.
a little different there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the verdict for me for the headset is that it's going to be a way for people to advertise it, for the famous people to advertise it even more. There's going to be certain consumers that are going to buy it because they want it and they have the money for it, or they're going to save for it, whatever. But the biggest thing, the most important thing of all of this is not the headset, is the message and the eyes that it's going to get because it's Apple. So expect in a couple months, well, not a couple months, but this year and next year, VR is going to skyrocket even more now on across the board, PlayStation, Meta, and obviously Apple as well, because Apple it joined the, hey, welcome to the party, Apple. Help us fucking bring this even more to the crazy stuff. So
I just want to say, for everybody that thought that PlayStation VR 2 was a bad price or was overpriced, now you see what it takes.
There was some
because
across the board, the PSVR 2 is a high-end headset. The only thing that's still last gen about it is the lenses. That's why it looks bulky still. It's not slim like these new headsets coming out because it uses Fresnel lenses. And it's very expensive to use pancake lenses with even OLED, because OLED is prone to burning over time, not instantly, right? Obviously. But with pancake lenses, it makes it a lot slimmer, but it also needs to be a lot brighter, the display, because the pancake lenses it chews up a lot of the brightness, a lot of the light coming through. So it needs to be excessively bright, and it's gonna be just hot and all this other shit. So I think that's why they didn't go with pancake lenses. Otherwise, it would have cost a bit more and also be pretty hot. But for what PlayStation people that like VR got, it's a really good headset. It's gonna last you. This headset, I'm pretty sure it's gonna work with the next PlayStation, even though they're gonna come out with a new VR. The standard is there. The controllers are there. The headset just works. It's similar to me going ahead and buying the original Rift and still being able to play it on my PC. It's still the standard. It's just an old gen headset, so it'll be great.
Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, though, what will make or break this device is gonna be the applications. It's always about the application, right? And
the battery life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right now. It's only 2 hours. Right now.
Yeah. They were smart though. They were smart about having it separately, and because you're gonna be third parties.
Right. The Genius with the super chat, it says, thoughts on Sony porting games to Mac. I don't know about that one. Would be a huge win for both, and would be a big slight to Windows platform. As a Mac user, would love that.
Which game did they port? Or he's saying
if they thought Sony would support game. I mean, but I think they
don't have to. They don't have to because Apple they implemented the DX12 layer into their Mac OSs, which is unprecedented, but they did it. Okay. So all they really have to do is just say, "Hey, we're gonna put it on the Mac." But
did Valve capitalize on that? Because I know Valve has Steam on Mac, but there's not a lot of games.
Yes, they. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know much
because you hardly hear, because Windows is so dominant in gaming. It's almost like.
Yeah.
Why even bother? It's almost like Mac is niche in terms of.
Yeah, but Mac is catching on because they're not using Intel no more. They're using their own silicon. Yeah. And you saw that Kojima ported Death Stranding, and there's No Man's Sky as well, which is a very complex game as well in terms of CPU and such. So it's getting there. And now with this, like I said, unprecedented move, because Apple is we're gonna do our own thing. Fuck you, fuck all y'all. They put the DX12 layer or whatever the fuck. So now, if someone has Steam and they can play any DX12 games, because it'll convert that into their own code, similar to what the Steam Deck does. The Steam Deck, Valve made something called Wine, I think it is, which converts DirectX commands into a Linux distribution stuff, and it just works, right? So it's gonna get there, because the silicone on Apple is getting really good.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on this. I know it's probably be a decade, whatever, but I'm just interested in seeing how far this progresses, because I like some of the stuff. It's just not enough for me to jump on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
just now, Meta starting with right now, because we got a trailer for Guard Giraffe. I know you don't know what the fuck that is, but the Asgard Giraffe 2 is a sequel to the first game, which was absolutely
Asgard
amazing.
Giraffe.
Yes, Asgard's Wrath.
Oh.
It's like a Norse mythology game,
Oh.
but it was like an open world RPG with a ton of shit on PC. It was over 60 fucking hours, and you could be a god, and you can also be like a human, because I think you were Loki, and then you could possess people, you can possess animals, you can be a shark and shit and fight people and whatnot. So they're making the sequel, and it looks fantastic, and it's gonna be another 60-hour game.
He's talking about Asgard Giraffe.
Yeah, Asgard Giraffe 2.
All right, players. Hey, we're gonna end the show on that one. Let's say outros. Call me Jay.
Yo, thank you for having me again. This whole time I've been in the metaverse talking to you guys. So next week,
next week
chat,
I need you all to buy Vision Pro. We're gonna do our podcast straight from the Vision Pro.
Yeah, straight from VR. You know what, dude? Next week, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get on the metaverse.
Oh shit!
And share my screen and be an avatar.
Oh shit! The first thing, he's gonna accidentally show Pornhub. We're like, whoa,
hey,
shit!
Someone's gonna walk into the room in VR with their titties out and shit.
Oh shit! All right.
But yeah, catch me on Twitch if you're into watching live streams and such. I know some people don't or do that, but twitch.tv/callmej360. Go ahead.
You can watch him play Asgard Giraffe.
Asgard Giraffe. I'm playing Plague Tale on it. I'm playing Need for Speed again because Need for Speed is amazing. Hit me up.
All right, no doubt. Extreme, man. Let's get your outro.
Yo, guys, it was such a pleasure being here. Sorry about all of the interruptions and everything. I should have better internet next week, I think. So, whatever that's worth.
You can stream some games.
Yeah, exactly. I can find out exactly how much I can be the first person to play Street Fighter 6 on cloud streaming. It'll be great.
Yeah.
It'll be great. People will love me. They'll love me. And modern controls too, right? I'm hearing that's the way to go. Everybody's happy about that.
I have a theory. That's why Redfall, the Redfall AI is so shit, because they were accounting for people that play on xCloud. The latency so high, they gotta wait for it to react. And shit, that's why the AI is so
What
bad.
a cheap shot at the end of the day. You just brought Redfall into it.
All right.
Hey, listen. Hey, hold on. Let me say good luck to my Xbox brethren. Okay, for that showcase.
Man. It's gonna be great.
I'm gonna love it for you guys. I really truly am. So if you want to see how much I love it, you can catch me on Twitter, and you will see my reaction of me loving it for you. It's gonna be great. Go ahead.
All right, guys. Hey, this is your only friend. These YouTube Streetfighter77. You know what I'm saying? We're about to pre-order Asgard Giraffe. That's gonna be the game. That's gonna be the game of the week.
I'm gonna link you the video so you watch that shit. You're gonna be like, okay, bro, I'm gonna need a fucking Quest 3.
The Asgard Giraffe.
You're gonna be like, I'm gonna need a Quest 3, bro, ASAP. Watch.
Oh shit. Anyway, hey.
He's gonna want the Apple Vision Pro for it.
Hey, there we go.
If you're new to the channel, hey, I hope you stick around. Hit the subscribe, hit the like button on your way out. We will catch you again next week, and that's gonna be a great episode because it's gonna be after the Xbox showcase, so that's gonna be a special episode.
The showcase of the year.
And we're gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it real. At least I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna keep it real. It is what it is. All right, but I hope you guys that, right?
I'm gonna be the Xbox that week.
Extreme is gonna. I predict Extreme is gonna buy an Xbox after he watches that shit. He's gonna be like, you know what, man? Fuck it. I'm gonna have to buy an Xbox One. I mean, Series S. Series S.
I'm gonna buy 3.
Yep.
I'm gonna buy 3.
He's gonna buy 3. Yep. He's gonna outdo Kid Smooth buying an Xbox because of
after the showcase. Xbox just out counseled Sony. It is what it is.
Hell yeah,
100%.
He said 100%. All right, guys.
Hit the like button. Hit the like button.
And you know what to say? Let's see.
You good, bro?
Okay, no. Just I thought I was good about to. No, I wanted to make sure I got all the super chat, and then also the final vote. Will Xbox Showcase be better than PlayStation Showcase? 63% says
shit.
Xbox is dog poop.
Hold on, before you leave, I got beef with chat. How come there's 400 plus votes, but there's only 100 likes? What's going on,
that's
chat?
Crazy, right? That's crazy.
Hey,
man.
hit the like button, bro. Show some respect.
They were all about the votes. None of them about the likes. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even notice that.
We came for the drama.
You just broke my heart. 431 votes. 431 people were 63%. There are more people that pressed Xbox's dog poop than hit the like button. That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy. More people.
You gotta call them out.
I gotta replace the like
you gotta
button.
put some ads, bro.
I gotta put.
You gotta put some ads.
I gotta modify the like button to Xbox's dog poop button.
Yo, Pira,
Yeah.
Pira.
That's
it's 60
crazy.
frames, no likes.
Oh,
60 frames, no likes.
nah, I love the
likes.
chat though. The chat's my peoples. The chat's my peoples, man. I
Hell
love
yeah.
you guys. Anyway, you guys, I'll see you guys
See you next week, chat.
You guys take care. Peace.